Tonight, the number 5 Center Grove Trojans host the Columbus North Bulldogs in the sectional number 7 championship of the 40th IHSAA Football State Tournament, proudly presented by the Indianapolis Colts. Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin Conrad, along with Rick Embry. The Trojans defeated the Bulldogs 38-24 last season in the sectional title game here at Ray Skillman Stadium. And Rick Embry tonight, again, like last season, we got two very well-coached teams and great football programs, and it's not a surprise we're seeing these two teams playing again for the Sectional 7 championship tonight.
Yeah, two teams that have finished off the season both on long winning streaks. Center Grove's won 6 in a row since they lost, or 7 in a row since they lost to Carmel in week 3. Columbus North won 5 in a row after starting the season 1-5. So should be a fantastic matchup this evening.
For tonight's matchup, the Center Grove Trojans coming in a little banged up in the backfield. They've got a couple of their key running backs out of the lineup tonight, so that's something the Trojans will have to overcome here offensively tonight.
You know, and they've had to deal with that almost the whole year since Max Norris went down in the first couple games this year. They've been shuffling those guys around, and what's been consistent throughout the year is that offensive line. No matter who's behind them, that offensive line has been dominant at times throughout the year, led by the center, Alex Wood. So no matter who they throw back there, they're usually pretty effective in the running game and in the wing T offense, and Coach Moore and company is hoping that continues tonight.
After the break, I'll be back with Center Grove head coach Eric Moore to talk about tonight's matchup. This is the 40th IHSA Football State Tournament, proudly presented by the Indianapolis Colts.
For just 2% of a typical school's budget, high school sports give us plenty of energy and excitement. For just 2%, they also give us young people whose leadership and commitment to excellence will pay big dividends in our community for years to come. 2%, that's one investment we can all feel good about. High school sports, pure spirit, pure sport, pure launching pad for life.
Welcome back to Center Grove Football. I'm Kevin Conrad, now joined by the head coach of the Trojans, Eric Moore. Coach, tonight's sectional championship here at Center Grove, a team you played last year here in the sectional finals, Columbus North. You know, obviously they're going to be well prepared and well coached, but just your thoughts about this Bulldog team tonight.
Well, it's good to see that the sectional championship continues to come through Center Grove. We're glad to be at home, although we do play well on the road, but we're glad to be home. And our old enemies back in Columbus North. They're a great football team again this year. They've had ups and downs, but they seem to be peaking at the right time. They've won 5 in a row. They're a big team. They're very, very physical and strong. I don't know, their speed. I don't know if they're faster than us. I'd say no, but, we have some flat tires right now, so we may not be at the height of our speed as well, but it should be a really good matchup. On paper, it's a pretty close game.
I'll say, Coach, in the backfield, you've been dinged up a little bit, but Connor Stapleton, your seniors, really stepped it up here in the state tournament.
Yeah, well, we started with 7 backs, and we're down to like 2. And Connor's been there the whole year after missing last year with sort of a freak injury. And he has done a great job, and I hope he continues to be as strong and run as fast and just do the things he does. What people don't realize if you don't know Connor is he's even a better person than he is a player, and a 4.0 student, and just, wow, what a great role model for student athlete.
Coach, your defense has played exceptional here in the latter part of the season. Obviously, your defense keeping you in ball games, giving you good field position with the offense.
Well, the key to our success at Center Grove is to always have a good defense. We got to have defense. You can't win without a solid, fast, physical defense. And when we in the winter and the summer, when I start separating personnel, I try to put those 13 guys that the most successful, maybe the best players actually. You should go to that defense because you can't outscore everybody all the time. So if you can shut them down, you always have a chance to win. And the defense has really been flexible this year. I don't know if we've gotten to every single package that we would have wanted to run, but they've played well, and some games have been just unbelievable in the super category. And we've used probably more kids than we've ever used on defense. There's no kidding. There's probably been 7 different linebackers start for us. In actuality, we only lose like 1 linebacker the whole deal. And this is a pretty young defense except for the defensive line and the 2 senior DBs. but it's been a very, very successful defense. It's been a good scoring defense. It's been good on the pass when it has to be. It's been good on the run when it has to be. And just I can't be proud enough. Coach Loons did a great job of keeping everybody together and on the same page and motivated to get to the football. And I think the difference this year is we're probably as physical as we've ever been as a football team since 2008.
Coach, final question again here at home tonight, Columbus North Sectional Championship. Sweet 16, trying to get to the Elite Eight. Just your key factors tonight for the Trojans to get this win here at home tonight.
Well, we don't think too much about the games, and you probably should think about more who's still left in the tournament than we do. It'd be more, probably have a little more pride in that. But it's just the next game. It's been the next game since August 23rd or whatever, and now it's really important. Obviously, every time you win a game now, you win some sort of a championship, in sort of sectional championship, a regional, a semi-state, or a state. Now is really time where I tell the kids, you put all your money in the bank here. It's time to write some checks. It's time to get out of it what you've put in. Even though we've lost a lot of underclassmen that have went to other sports, the kids that have stayed with us, are getting a lot of learning experience. The longer you go in the playoffs, the more you get to work with your younger kids. And if you look down the road every year, there's probably a reason why those certain teams continue to stay better, because their kids get to practice a month longer. And it happens that way in college too. So this is sort of the height of the season of our success, and really getting a chance to show off tonight of what we've become. Again, we're a little shorthanded, but hopefully a good, strong defense should help us through. And I just hope everybody can get here and have a great time. We can have a great Trojan win.
All right, Coach. Thanks for your time. Good luck tonight against Columbus North.
Thanks. Hope everybody comes out and sees a great Trojan win and becomes sectional champions.
The hot-looking Buicks are on sale now at Ray Skillman Southside Buick GMC. Great style, great selection, and great savings on over 300 new Buicks. Get a 2012 Buick Verano as low as $169 a month, or a 2012 Buick LaCrosse as low as $249 a month, or get a 2012 Buick Enclave as low as $279 a month. The hot-looking Buicks are on sale now at Ray Skillman Southside Buick GMC.
Whether you are looking for a low-maintenance community in a luxurious wooded setting such as Sycamore Ridge, the breathtaking views and rolling landscapes of Kensington Grove, the gently rolling hills and convenience of Calvert Farms, the intimate luxury setting of Claiborne, site of the 2006 Homeorama, or the private gated communities of Persimmon Woods or Whitetail Woods, Duke Homes has a community to fit your needs. For information about all that Duke Homes and Duke Communities have to offer, visit DukeHomes.com.
Welcome back to beautiful Ray Skillman Stadium. Cool autumn night here at Center Grove High School. It is the sectional number 7 championship game between the 5th-ranked Center Grove Trojans and the Columbus North Bulldogs. Kevin Conrad, Rick Embry with you tonight. Rick, for the Center Grove Trojans, a pretty good fan base here tonight at Ray Skillman Stadium. Across the way for Columbus North, they've also traveled very, very well. Again, 2 great football programs vying for another sectional championship for Coach Moore. He has won 6 here at Center Grove, going for number 7, and as a school, Center Grove has won 7, going for number 8 tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, Kevin, for one of the few times this year, probably 3 or 4 times this year we haven't had rain on Friday night, or lightning or storms or all kinds of stuff that ends up canceling the game or postponing it till the next day. So nice to have it's a little cool, you're right, but no rain in the air or anything like that. And like always, the Trojan fans have came out well and have got almost the entire bleachers filled. And like you said, Columbus has a pretty decent crowd over there as well.
Center Grove and Columbus North meeting at midfield for the coin toss. We're just moments away before tonight's kickoff of sectional number 7, the championship game these two teams played last year right here at Center Grove in the sectional final, with the Trojans defeating the Bulldogs 38-24. Game time temperature right now, 48 degrees. Again, no rain in the forecast, so a good, cool evening here at Center Grove High School. The head coach of the Trojans, Eric Moore, in his 14th year here at Center Grove. Coach Moore, 73% winning percentage in the playoffs here at Center Grove. 34 wins, 12 losses, and the big key stat here, Rick, for Coach Moore, all time here at Center Grove, he's 6-1 in sectional championship games and undefeated at 5-0 here at home in sectional championship games.
Yeah,
and here come the Center Grove Trojans. Rick, that's just a great way to fire up the crowd. Running through the helmet, you got fireworks going off, just chills down your back for the Center Grove Trojan fans.
I mean, if you can't get excited and fired up to play football, then you shouldn't be out here playing with, every Friday night, Center Grove fans pack the place. The music's loud, the horn's loud, as we know, because it's right beside us. And that should be fired up. But like you said, Coach Moore's been very successful in sectionals and just in the tournament in general, and he's been very successful, undefeated at home so far in sectional finals. Lost once on the road in the sectional final, but should be a fantastic matchup tonight between Columbus North and Center Grove.
Center Grove brings in a 10-1 record, 8 straight wins, big champs this year, number 2 in the computer rankings in the Class 5A. For Columbus North, 6-5 overall. They've won 5 straight. They're a very hot team right now. They've played a good part of this year with some of their key players injured. This is for Coach Tim Bless, his 13th year at Columbus North. 90 wins, 59 losses. They finished 3rd this year in Conference Indiana behind Lawrence Central and Pike High School. They are number 19 in the computer rankings this week in Class 5A. Coach Moore against Columbus North all time, 2-1 in sectional games, 1-1 here at home. Last meeting again last year in the sectional championship game, Center Grove won 38-24. Last time Columbus North beat Center Grove, you go back to 2007 right here at Center Grove, 23-7 in the sectional semifinals. Center Grove will return to begin tonight's ball game. Joseph Gideon will kick off for Columbus North. He was a hero last week against Franklin Central. He kicked a field goal in the last 90 seconds to win that game, and Center Grove will score, possibly. And he's in there. Touchdown.
Wow.
So Gideon tries an onside kick, and Drew Wozniak, he's a junior. He returns it 53 yards for a touchdown. That is always a possibility when you do an onside kick. You're going after the ball. You forget sometimes you got to tackle the runner.
What an amazing way to start the game for Center Grove. Well executed by Columbus North. Most of the up guys for Center Grove had already taken a couple steps back, but it happened to go to Wozniak. He fielded it, broke one tackle, and the other guys were already past him, and he just took it to the house. So unbelievable momentum-wise for both sides to have that start that way, but Wozniak gets the big return.
Ben Wheeler's extra point kick right down the middle, and the Trojans are on the scoreboard early, 7-0. Rick, we're only 9 seconds into the ball game. It took Drew Wozniak 9 seconds to pick up the ball and return it 53 yards for the touchdown.
And Kevin, we thought we might call the name Wozniak tonight on the passing attack for Center Grove, but I don't think we anticipated calling his younger brother Drew Wozniak first with a huge play of the game right there. 53 yards for Wozniak. Like I said, he broke the one tackle. Pretty good onside kick right there by Gideon. And Wozniak did a fantastic job of first fielding the ball. Then he broke one tackle, and he was able to get into the end zone. It's interesting, Kevin, because Columbus North won the flip, and they chose to defer. So I'm sure in the back of their mind, they've worked all week on that. They've worked all week knowing that, hey, if we get the flip, we defer, we're going to throw that right out at the start because, something like that is something that can trigger you for the rest of the game. You get that ball back right off the bat, you march down the field and score, Center Grove's back on their heels, you're feeling sky high. The flip side of that is just what happened right there.
So Center Grove in front 7-0 over Columbus North here in the sectional number 7 championship game. Ben Wheeler, senior kicker, will tee it up at the 40. Got to watch out for Taylor Summa, 6-foot senior. He has 2 returns this year for touchdowns for Columbus North. No wind to speak of at the moment. Wheeler tries a line drive kick. It'll be taken from the 2-yard line by Taylor Summa. He's a weapon to the 20, 25, and they rip him down at the 32-yard line. He's a strong runner. He's 6 foot, 190 pounds. He's a wide receiver, and they finally get him to the turf at the 32.
Late flag on the play as well, Kevin. I don't know if it'll be a late hit out of bounds, a face mask, or maybe there was a block in the back towards the end of the play.
Let's get the call from the official. The Center Grove players are pointing toward Columbus North. Holding against Columbus North. And the starters tonight defensively for the Trojans. In the secondary, Mario Swan, Donovan Bowling, Alex Ackerman, and Josh Piper. The linebackers, Michael Hanlon, Keegan McFatridge, Kalen Kelsheimer. On the D-line, Drew Ponder and Drew Hayden. And the defensive ends are Damian Stone and Dylan Dallas. The quarterback for Columbus North, Michael Vogel, a 6 foot, 200-pound junior. Ball from the 20-yard line. Pass is completed to Summa. Again, he is the top threat from the receiving standpoint. Picks up good yardage on the first play from scrimmage, gets 8 yards.
Yeah, that's a tough play to defend right there, especially if the quarterback's accurate. Just take a 2-step drop, passed it out there to Summa, who's his best wide receiver, and he picked up 8 on first down.
Summa averaging about 30 yards per reception per game. First running play for Columbus North, a big pile up and nothing there for Columbus North. Either got back to the line of scrimmage or lost a yard. Great pursuit by the Center Grove Trojans at D-line, not allowing any running lanes at all.
Yeah, the big Drews up front, Hayden and Ponder, have been dominant in the last few games of the year, Kevin. As Coach Moore talked about, you always have to have a defense in order to feel confident. You can't outscore people no matter how good your offense is. And the defense has been impressive, and it's been led up front by those front guys.
3rd and 2 for Columbus North. First offensive drive for the Bulldogs. 2 men shift here to the right. Under center. Hand off to the running back. He's got the first down up to the 41-yard line. And the field judge takes a fall at the 41. Hopefully he's okay. But it is a nice run and a first down for Columbus North.
Yeah, good play on 3rd down by Columbus North, and shows that they have confidence in their offensive line as well. 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. They chose to run the ball there instead of trying to pass or something like that, and were able to pick up about 10 and a first down.
I do believe, Rick, that was number 22, Jesse Tompkins, 5'8", senior, with the first down run. On a new set of downs here for the Bulldogs. Screen pass is complete at the 40. Run after the catch across midfield and taken down at the 45, breaking a few tackles. Nice pickup here for the North Bulldogs at 15 yards. Jamal Halliburton with the reception.
Yeah, and Vogel's been very impressive on both of his passes to date. That was a good, well-designed play. He was able to throw it out there to Halliburton, and he picked up about 13 or 14 on the play. Columbus North's got a couple first downs and now is in Center Grove territory.
Starting tonight for the Bulldogs offensively on that offensive line, Schoaf, Clark, Riemann, Cameron, and Brown. We'll get the rest of the starters in just a moment on play action. Rolls to his right, being chased by Dylan Dallas, and Dallas throws him to the turf hard, out of bounds. Big loss, a sack by Dylan Dallas. He now has 11 sacks on the season.
And he's had a fantastic year, Kevin. He's been dominant in several games. He's played inside, he's played outside right there. He did a very good job of not going for the bootleg fake. It was a very good fake by the quarterback. Dallas stayed at home, and it was able to bring down Vogel for the sack and a loss of about 3 on the play.
Also starting for the Bulldogs, Jesse Tompkins, Jamal Halliburton in the backfield. The receivers, Taylor Summa and Torrey Jackson. Again, the quarterback is Michael Vogel. Tompkins trying to get outside, chopped down at the original line of scrimmage to bring up 3rd and 10 for the Bulldogs.
And Mario Swan right there. It looked like Tompkins had a little space to the outside, but Swan closed quickly. And when Mario Swan gets his pads on you, you're not normally going to get run him over or get around him, and Swan tackled him after a short gain. That'll bring up 3rd and 10. Big third down here for Columbus North.
Mario Swan, the second leading tackler for the Trojans this season. Another big third down play for the Bulldogs. Ball at the Trojan 46 from the shotgun formation. Pass is incomplete. No flags on the play. I thought Swan maybe got away with a little bit of a hold on the receiver, but the officials do not throw the flag. Not for sure if the ball was catchable or not. And we will see the punting unit for Columbus North.
Yeah, you're right. It looked like Swan did get a little bit of the jersey in the backside there, but the ball was well out in front of the receiver, probably 3 or 4 yards. 4th down punt coming up now for Columbus North.
Joseph Gideon, 6'1" senior with the punting responsibilities for North. A high snap. He gets it off, though. Good spiraling punt. It'll be taken from the 15 by Ackerman. Sidesteps the tackler and gets a good return for the Center Grove Trojans, just short of the 30-yard line. 8:49 to play, first quarter. Center Grove leads it 7-0, and this will be the first time we've seen Center Grove offensively. And you say, well, how did the Trojans get their 7 points? Well, in the opening kickoff of tonight's ballgame, if you're just joining us late, the Bulldogs tried an onside kick. It was picked up by Drew Wozniak on the front line. He scooped it up and returned it 53 yards for the score. First play for the Trojans offensively. Stapleton gets the carry. A different look offensively tonight for the Trojans in the backfield. We'll start first with the split end, the starters. Kyle Buchanan, tight end Nate Wozniak. The offensive line is Mitch McKee, Nathan Cronin, Alex Woods, Logan Battle, and Sam Hayes. The wing back is Connor Stapleton. The fullback is Alex Lucas. And they do have a sophomore in there tonight at halfback. That's Calvin Daggett. And the starting quarterback is junior Luke Calvert. So 2 yards for Stapleton on 2nd down and 8. Alex Lucas, first carry of the night. Sidesteps a few tacklers. He gets outside. He has the first down, still on his feet. Across midfield. Big pickup for Alex Lucas. Gets 20-some yards on the carry.
Well, what you like to see, Kevin, is as you see him getting around the outside, who are blocking downfield? You got Stapleton and Daggett both blocking downfield, picking up safeties, picking up cornerbacks down the field, and that's what happens. That's what gets you from a 5 or 6 yard gain to a 20-yard gain right there is what Alex Lucas has, but he just picked his holes. He waited patiently for his blockers and a good run.
Hand off right up the gut, couple of yards. Connor Stapleton has been so impressive in the state tournament. Over 200 yards rushing against Martinsville in the sectional opener, 3 touchdowns. Also last week, 180-some yards, 3 touchdowns against Franklin. So he's almost at around 400 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns here in the sectionals.
Yeah, and that 186 yards or 94 yards last week was on 6 carries, I think, Kevin.
Hand off to Stapleton, cuts it up, and he is just short of the 40. Be marked at the 41, a couple of yards short of the first down. Very manageable third down coming up here for the Center Grove Trojans.
And one thing that you're always interested to see is what happens when you have different backs. This week we don't have Logan Hudson back there. So you got Calvin Daggett who's got carries and kind of mop-up duty. He got a lot of carries last week when Center Grove was up big, but you always wonder about how that's going to work and guys being in different spots and if they're able to just plug away.
3rd and 3. Handoff coming to the near side. Stapleton turns it up. He gets it across the 40.
That's close.
Going to be about a yard short, a yard and a half short of the first down. One would think early in the game you're up 7-zip. You're in Columbus North territory. Coach Moore will go for it here on 4th and a long yard. It's going to be more like 4th and 2.
He's got a good couple right there. So it'll be interesting to see what decision he makes. I think I agree with you, Kevin. He's probably going to go for it and try to send a message early that they should be able to get 2 yards on 4th down, but you never know.
Luke Calvert under center. Handoff straight ahead running. Alex Lucas, he's right at the sticks. His second effort gets the first down. Great job by Alex Lucas to pick up the first down. Josh Holt makes the tackle. Move the sticks. Center Grove extends the drive.
And that's what we always talk about when we talk about Alex Lucas running the ball. He's always the type of tackler that is leaning forward and moving forward when he gets tackled. So even when he gets tackled, he tacks on another yard or two just because his feet are moving and he's always moving forward. And right there, that was huge to get the first down.
Center Grove in front, 7-0. 5:44 to play, first quarter. Luke Calvert rolls to his right, under pressure, reverses field, and throws it away. Well done by Luke Calvert.
Oh, they got
They're going to say
grounding.
Intentional grounding. There is no receiver on this near sideline, so it could be intentional grounding against Luke Calvert. Score update from another game, sectional championship game between Lawrence Central and North Central. Lawrence Central leads it early, 6-0. Center Grove and North Central, the only remaining teams from the MIC Conference, still playing. Carmel is out, Ben Davis out. Warren Central losing last week. Terre Haute North lost last week, so again, just 2 MIC teams left. For Conference Indiana, you got Columbus North, Pike, and Lawrence Central.
Yeah, you're right, Kevin. They got 3 teams still left, and Columbus North finished 3rd in that conference. You obviously have Lawrence Central, who's number 1 in the state right now, and you also have Pike, who knocked off a couple big teams in the playoffs so far.
Handoff, Stapleton from the backfield. Gets it back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 3rd and 10. Defensively tonight for Columbus North on the D-line, Thomas Schoaf going to BYU. He is a stud at 6'6", 255 pounds. He's a senior. Solomon Knight, Jacob Barnett, and also Brandon Woods. The linebacker, Shaquille Ash, probably the best player on that defensive side of the ball. He's number 10. Luke Teague and Connor Marshall, and the secondary, Alex Horn, Shannon McDonald, Josh Holt, and Taylor Summa. Big play, 3rd and call it 11 yards for the Trojans at the north 37-yard line. Calvert to pass, down and out, and it is complete to Lucas at the 30-yard line. He'll be 4 yards short of the first down, so again, manageable, Rick, at 4th and 4.
Yeah, I would think that they would go for this as well. You know, you got the ball on the 30-yard line. Even if you punt, more than likely it's going to go in the end zone. You only gained 10 yards. So I would expect Coach Moore to go for it. Looks like that's what he's doing. A big play right there, because instead of being 4th and 10 now, you gain 5 or 6 yards right there, and now you have a manageable 4th and 4 on the 30.
Big matchup in Class 4A sectional championship game between Roncalli and Chittard. Chittard leads early. Cathedral. Cathedral leads Roncalli 7-0. 4th and 4. Calvert to pass. Down and out. Buchanan's wide open. First down to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Dives and no call. Touchdown. The other official says touchdown.
Where is the call?
It's the referee at the other side said touchdown. He put his arms up, but the near guy did not make the call. So it's a 30-yard touchdown pass.
Wow, and that was a little bit of a Coach Moore's not going to be happy about that. Right now he's talking to Buchanan, because Buchanan really not necessarily had to dive for the end zone. He kind of dove for the end zone, and as he was crossing the pylon and he hit the ground, then the ball came loose. So that's why there was a bit of hesitation by the one side judge, and eventually the head referee called the touchdown. So big 4th down play right there.
Buchanan, 2 touchdowns on the year. Scored his first one in the Martinsville game, 61 yards. That one's for 30. The kick by Ben Wheeler, right down the middle. Wheeler's been fantastic this year for the Trojans on extra point kicks. Center Grove leads it 14-0. 4:03 to play, first quarter. The scoring touchdowns for the Trojans: Drew Woz, as in Drew Wozniak, off the opening kickoff by Columbus North. They tried an onside kick. Wozniak picked it up, returned it 53 yards for a touchdown. And just moments ago, we saw Kyle Buchanan, senior wide receiver, with a 30-yard touchdown pass for a score to make it 14-0. Center Grove with 4:03 to play here in the opening quarter.
2 big 4th down conversions on that drive, Kevin. One on the 4th and 2 that Lucas picked up on a 4-yard gain, and then right there about a 4th and 4. Little out pattern to Buchanan. Buchanan did a good job of breaking a tackle. Once he broke that tackle, then he outran the other safety in the backfield. and got in for the touchdown. So a big start for Center Grove, exactly what they wanted, and not the start that Columbus North wants. Columbus North also likes to run the ball. You never want, as a running team, to get behind by a couple, 3 touchdowns and then be forced to go outside your comfort area, and you end up throwing the ball, and that's not what you're used to doing for 25 or 30 times a game.
Tonight's game being brought to you by Winterwood Mortgage, your hometown mortgage company supporting your hometown Trojans. Call today, 800-888-1135, or online at winterwood.net.
The flip side of that, Kevin, is that Columbus North's been behind all postseason. Last week they were down 14-0 at halftime, came back and won 17-14 over Franklin Central. First game against Whiteland, they were down and came back and won that game. So not unfamiliar territory, but obviously they're playing against a much stronger team in Center Grove.
Tough night for Coach Tim Bless and the Bless family. His older brother, Mark Bless, the head coach at Avon, his team trailing Pike 14-0. And, of course, Tim Bless here for Columbus North, the head coach, trailing Center Grove 14-0. So a tough start for the Bless family tonight on sectional championship night. A squib kick by Center Grove's Ben Wheeler. Summa will be tackled short of the 20 by Mario Swan, taken down at the 19-yard line. That's very effective kick and great pursuit by the special teams, especially Mario Swan.
Yeah, when you have a great returner like Summa, who's returned 2 touchdowns so far. First time he was able to almost break one and got a pretty good return. That time he tried to go away from Swan, and Swan just tracked him down, as we've seen in the past. Mario Swan is on the kickoff team, has been very impressive, and he delivers the hits.
Second offensive drive of the night here for the Bulldogs, trailing 14-0. Running play, 3 yards up the middle for number 22. Jesse Tompkins, 5'8", 165-pound senior. Rick, you look at their 2 backs. They've been injured this year, not playing the complete season this year. You got Tompkins, 6 games this year. Halliburton has played 7, so they've had to play injured a good portion of the year, and that's probably why the record for Columbus North not what it probably could or should have been. Passing play, a yard pickup, good pursuit by the Trojans. Ackerman on the tackle.
Yeah, you're right, Kevin, but still pretty impressive. Tompkins has only played 6 games and has 752 yards. So, I mean, he's averaging 6 yards a carry. Halliburton's averaging almost 6 yards a carry as well. So both those guys have been effective, but you're right. I mean, Tompkins is their main guy, and him being out 3 or 4 games has really affected their record. Brings up another big 3rd and 5.
From shotgun formation. Vogel looks right, now goes across the middle. It's incomplete. His pass was low. His pass was intended for Skylar Farmer, a 6'1" senior. Did not get a good pass off, and it brings up 4th and 5, and we'll see Gideon and the punting unit for the second time tonight.
Well, and he also was getting some pressure from Hayden and Damian Stone in the backfield there, so it looked like he got a little happy feet, got rid of that a little bit sooner than what he would have liked, and it came up incomplete.
Buchanan and Ackerman back deep, good spiraling punt. Going to be taken by the Trojans at the 42, and Buchanan is tackled right there. Maybe got a yard or 2 on the return. Jacob Hamblin, sophomore, with the tackle. 14-0. Center Grove with the early lead.
Center Grove's came close a couple times to blocking those punts. So look for that to possibly break free later on in the game. Both those snaps have been a little bit high, and Center Grove's just coming straight up the middle, and on a couple times looks like they also got Wozniak rushing the punter right there. So it wouldn't surprise me if Center Grove's able to get one of those later. Huge possession right here for Columbus North. They, in order to stay in this game, have to stop Center Grove. They cannot allow them to tack on another touchdown and get up 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. Hey, something unusual, Kevin. We got a TV timeout.
Roofing Made Easy is a proud supporter of Center Grove Trojan football. For all your roofing needs, contact Roofing Made Easy at 317-372-6233 or online at indieroofrepair.com. Roofing Made Easy, some of your friends are our customers. Ray Skillman Auto Group is a proud supporter of Trojan football. Ray Skillman, where we stack them deep and sell them cheap. Trojans off to a fantastic start tonight, leading Columbus North 14-0. The winner here plays the winner of sectional number 8. That's Castle hosting Jeffersonville. Castle undefeated, ranked in the top 10 in the state. Some polls have Castle in front of Center Grove, but one would think the heavy favorite there obviously is Castle. That game will kick off at 8 o'clock tonight, so hopefully we'll get you some updates on that game later in the second half of our game here. But the situation, Center Grove can win tonight. They will host Castle if Castle wins tonight next week in the regional championship. But a lot of football yet to be played as Connor Stapleton, with a fantastic run, picks up the first down, gets it into Columbus North territory. He'll be marked at the 43-yard line.
And he's so effective on that, Kevin. He kind of waits and waits and waits. Once he gets that corner peeled like he did right there by one of the other backs and a pulling lineman, once he gets around that corner, as we've talked about before, he has blazing speed. I mean, he's won the 300 low hurdles last year in the state, so he's able to get down the field quickly.
Running play to the 40-yard line. So, again, just to pass this along, again, I realize a lot of football yet to be played, but if Center Grove's able to win tonight, if Castle wins to the south, Center Grove would host Castle for the regional championship next Friday night, 8 o'clock, the kickoff time. If Jeffersonville would to upset Castle tonight, then Center Grove would go to Jeffersonville at 7:30 for a kickoff next Friday night. But again, we're so early in this ball game. It's 14-zip, Center Grove in front. Hand off to Alex Lucas. He cuts it up, now cuts it back outside, and he falls forward for the first down. Center Grove so far, Rick, they've been able to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and that's where games are won.
Well, and what those outside plays a couple times that they've run with Stapleton, what that does then is open up those belly plays and those counter plays inside. In the last two plays, one to Daggett, they got about 4 yards on first down, and then Alex Lucas right there on a little counter play picks up 6 or 7 for the first down. Right now they're clicking on all cylinders.
New set of downs at the Columbus North 32. Whistles, flags come out before the snap of the football. 1:26 to play, first quarter. 14-0, Center Grove. False start against Center Grove. And a couple of weeks ago when Center Grove hosted the Martinsville Artesians, we saw numerous flags thrown against Center Grove. Mainly that night, Rick, that was a lot of holding calls, and I know Coach Moore talked about that last week on our pregame show when we played Franklin, so I know that's a concern that he had from that Martinsville game.
Well, and what's difficult is when you're not a passing team, when you get into first and 20, second and 15, those type of down and distances, that limits your playbook that you can do with the wing T. So you obviously don't want to get in those second and third and longs whenever you're a mainly rushing attack.
First and 15, Calvert to pass. He lost one up for Buchanan. He's got him. Touchdown. Calvert throws a strike. 37-yard touchdown pass.
What did I say about them not being a passing attack right there, Kevin? Fantastic ball right there. A little stop and go. Buchanan just outran the coverage. Calvert laid it up there perfectly to him. Looks like we got a late flag, but that's going to be probably a celebration in the end zone. Buchanan kind of threw the ball up in the air after he got in the end zone, kind of a cheap penalty right there, but just a perfect ball from Luke Calvert.
Buchanan, during the regular season, 0 touchdown receptions. Here in the state tournament, he now has 3. He had one against Martinsville, 61 yards. He has 2 tonight, 1 for 30, and now 1 for 37 yards. And Center Grove leads it 20-0 with 57 seconds to play in the first quarter. The penalty against Center Grove, it will be assessed on the kickoff. So Ben Wheeler will try the extra point kick from his normal spot right there at the 10-yard line. Buchanan holding, puts it down. The kick is up, and the kick is good. 21-0. Center Grove off to a fantastic start against Columbus North here in the Sectional 7 championship game.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better start from Center Grove, and obviously Columbus North's got to be down over there on that sidelines. But, you know, back to that play, it was 1st and 15. Calvert, good play action pass right there. Buchanan looked like he was going to run a little out pattern, gave it a little stop and go, got behind the defense, and Calvert just laid it out there perfectly. Buchanan caught the ball on the 3-yard line, strolled into the end zone, 37-yard touchdown pass. Center Grove goes up 21-0.
In Class 4A, Cathedral, 21-0 over Roncalli.
Wow. Looks like Pike is Avon scored, so it's 14-7. Pike over Avon, early second quarter.
Kyle Buchanan, back-to-back touchdown receptions for the Trojans, putting the men in red and white in front, 21-0 over Columbus North. Still 57 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. What an outstanding quarter of play for the Center Grove Trojans. This may be the best quarter they played all season long.
Well, and it all starts on that first play, the onside kick. I mean, Wozniak was alert up at the start of the line, got that, returned that, and right there you just start off on an incredible high. You're already pretty pumped going in. You do that, everybody's just pumped up. Defense goes out there, gets a couple stops. Offense is able to move the ball, pick up a couple touchdowns on touchdown passes.
With the penalty on that celebration by the Trojans, Wheeler will kick off from the 25, and he does a pop-up kick. It'll be taken at the 32. It did drop, and Summa picks it up. You got to watch out. He is a weapon. 2 touchdowns this year on kick returns. He's taken down at the 44, 45-yard line. So for Columbus North, Rick, 2 offensive drives have resulted in punts. They've been unable to move the football up to this point.
Yeah, and it's a very, I mean, we talked about it last time being a very important drive defensively for them. They didn't get it done. They have to start moving the ball. They have to put points on the board, or this one's going to get ugly like last week's was against Franklin.
Center Grove's offense gets a lot of recognition. They're number 5 in 5A, averaging 40 points a ball game. But this Center Grove defense, they're number 6 in Class 5A, only allowing 12 points a ball game, and they allowed Martinsville to score, 12 points in the sectional opener. Franklin scored once last week, and prior to that, the Trojans had only let up, I think it was 2 touchdowns in the last, 4 or 5 games of the regular season, and that was Ben Davis.
Well, and they've been the story of the season. I mean, we talk about how explosive the offense is, but the defense has just been consistent. The defense won the Warren Central game for them. The defense won the Ben Davis game for them. So they've been very impressive all year.
On 2nd down and 8, running play to the near side. Flag comes out. Ball is short of the 50, short of the first down, but it's going to come back. Flag in the backfield. They're going to move it to around the 42-yard line. The official indicating holding against Columbus North.
Yeah, and that was on Dylan Dallas. Dylan Dallas was in the backfield getting ready to make the play, and the offensive lineman for Columbus North just wrapped him up, and easy call for the referee that's in the backfield there. Big penalty right there for Columbus North. That's going to bring up, looks like 2nd and about 20 for them. It's obviously going to put them in some passing situations, and that's where those front 4 for Center Grove just pin their ears back and get after them.
Pike has scored again, so the Pike Red Devils leading Avon 21-7. Another sectional championship game being played in Central Indiana in Class 5A. I mean, on paper, Rick, I know you got to play the games, obviously, but one would think you're going to possibly see a Pike against Lawrence Central, 2 Conference Indiana teams. They finished 1st and 2nd. One would think Center Grove off to a great start, can win here, play maybe a Castle next Friday night, in the regional next week. But again, a lot of football yet to be played. Don't want to get ahead of myself, but boy, it'd be something else if Center Grove can find itself to the Final Four. Center Grove ranked number 2 in the computer rankings. Lawrence Central now number 1 in the computer rankings. Those are the 2 favorites on paper. 1 second left to play here in the opening quarter. On 2nd
Another
and long holding call going to be called against the North Bulldogs. A fantastic run by the flag in the backfield. It should be another holding call.
That was on number 57, Tyson Clark, but once again, that was on Dylan Dallas. I mean, he was in the backfield getting ready to make a tackle after a short gain, and Clark just wrapped him up. And yeah, you're right, it negated about a 19-yard gain right there by Thompson. And now instead of 2nd and 20 or 3rd and 1, it's going to be 2nd and about 30.
North Central from the MIC has now moved in front of number 1 Lawrence Central 7-6. So the Panthers putting up a score, and they lead number 1 Lawrence Central 7-6.
And that would be a shocker if that one held up. I mean, North Central's always got the good athletes. We obviously played them on a night that was just a monsoon up there. But, I mean, Center Grove just dominated. They didn't hardly move the ball, North Central. Now, obviously, they like throwing the ball a little bit, but you can't do that when it's raining like that. But that would be a huge upset.
Another play here to conclude the first quarter. It's 2nd down and very, very long. Passing play is complete to Summa. He is hit out of bounds, and that brings us to the end of the first quarter here at Ray Skillman Stadium. The Center Grove Trojans off to a great start, leading Columbus North 21-0 here in the Sectional 7 championship game. This is the 40th IHSAA Football State Tournament, proudly presented by the Indianapolis Colts.
Ray Skillman's got your truck, man. Big and little trucks, man. Integrated locations, man. Skillman's got your truck, man. He's got SUVs, crossovers, long bed, short bed, flatbed, dump cab, crew cab, cinder cab, half ton, 3/4 ton, 1 ton, high cube van, cargo van, diesel engine, gas in stock. A custom in the color you want, man. Ray Skillman's got your truck, man. Big and little trucks, man. Integrated locations, man. Skillman's got your truck, man. Ray Skillman's got your truck, man.
Center Grove leading Columbus North 21-0 after one quarter here at Ray Skillman Stadium. Kevin Conrad, Rick Embry with you tonight. Rick, I tell you, it was just an all-around great first quarter for the Center Grove Trojans on all aspects, offense, defense, and special teams.
Well, and what you didn't expect to see that Center Grove showed a little bit in that first quarter was a passing attack. I mean, we obviously know the running attack that the wing T has, but two touchdown passes, 30 and 37 yards from Calvert to Buchanan, and that just adds another special dimension to that offense. If you can't concentrate and put 9 or 10 guys in the box against Center Grove and they're able to throw the ball, that makes the offense extremely hard to stop.
Trojans scored on every offensive drive in the first quarter. The Columbus North Bulldogs were forced to punt on 2 of their drives. This is their 3rd possession of the ball game as we are about to get things underway here in the second quarter. Again, Drew Wozniak started tonight's game off scoring in just 9 seconds. The Bulldogs tried an onside kick. He picked it up and returned it 53 yards for the touchdown. And then Kyle Buchanan has scored twice on a 30-yard touchdown pass and a 37-yard touchdown pass. And to begin things in the second quarter, Tyler Amaro deflects the pass at the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 4th and 23. And once again, the Bulldogs will punt for a 3rd time tonight. And Rick, how many times has Tyler Amaro tipped the ball at the line of scrimmage?
Well, and those guys are so fun to watch. I mean, Coach Moore talked about it. He's played about 7 linebackers. And, you know, those guys aren't very big. They're not as big as like Kimbrough from Warren Central, but they're fast, and they do the job. And right there, Amaro did the job.
Gideon will punt away from his own 20. Nearly blocked again. Center Grove getting great pressure. And it will be fair caught at the 37-yard line. So for the Center Grove Trojans, this will be their 3rd offensive drive of the ball game. Tonight's game being brought to you by Jets Pizza. Jets Pizza located on State Road 135 in the Colby Shops, just across from Bonefish Grill. Jets Pizza is open daily for lunch and dinner. Call 317-881-JETS. Again, 317-881-5387 for pickup or delivery. Jets Pizza, life is short, eat better pizza. Hand off right up the middle. Is that Lane Morris?
Yep.
Lane Morris has been out since the Warren Central game in week number 9. That's his first carry here in the state tournament. Coming off a knee injury. We had gotten a word from the coaching staff that he might see some action tonight. Picks up 6 yards on his first carry tonight.
Yeah, and that's just a typical Lane Morris run right there. Nothing flashy. Hits the hole hard. Picks his way a little bit. Picks up 6 yards on first down.
Double
crisscross.
Alex Lucas gone. Touchdown for Alex Lucas. He hits the home run. Alex Lucas, 57-yard touchdown run, 27-0. All Center Grove here in the first half.
And that's just the counter crisscross play that the wing tee is famous for, that, you know, we learned from the time they're 7 years old in Bantam football, and they hadn't seen that in the first quarter. They've been running their basically belly plays and outside sweep plays, and they ran that on second and about 4, and once Lucas got the ball, good clean handoff, he was gone.
Matt Combs, long snapper. Buchanan puts it down, and Ben Wheeler puts it through. 28-zip Center Grove. Ted Kitchell not with us tonight, our normal color commentator. He's down in IU tonight and getting the chance to watch the great Landon Turner be inducted into the IU Hall of Fame. And I know Ted told us last Friday night, he told you and me both, boys, get us a win tonight. And boy, the Trojans are responding off to a fantastic start. 28-0 over Columbus North. 11-12 left to play here in the second quarter. And Rick, during the season, and a lot of teams get a lot of exposure and credit. A lot of talk about Carmel, Warren Central, and Ben Davis. But let me tell you, Center Grove has been there all season long. They only lost a 10-point loss to Carmel in week 3. And the Center Grove Trojans may be playing their best half of football here tonight.
Well, and you always worry because, you know, we followed that Carmel loss off with Terre Haute North game right after that. You know, some weird circumstances with having to drive out there Saturday after you drove out there Friday night, got rained out by the thunderstorm and all of that, had to turn around and go back out there. You had guys missing. Stapleton was taking the SATs or ACTs, and you had some guys missing. Kind of just battled through that one. Didn't have very good practice. Coach Moore talked about not having very good practice. So right there is where the season could have turned one way or the other. Center Grove got it done in that game. Since then, they've played fantastically on defense, done a great job on offense with just enough to get it done against the Ben Davis and Warren Central. And tonight they're just firing on all cylinders.
Brilliant kickoff by Ben Wheeler. Again, Summa has that ability to return kickoffs for touchdowns, and Ben Wheeler puts it to the end zone with no win. That was all Ben Wheeler.
The other thing that you look back on, Kevin, and probably the game that gave Center Grove the confidence that they could compete and beat anybody was the Ben Davis game. You know, going into that game, you know, people still thought, is Center Grove really for real? You know, Carmel's probably the only team they played that have been that good. They got beat by them pretty good at home here, but that Ben Davis game gave them confidence.
Vogel passing, going deep. He's got a man, and it's incomplete. Donovan Bowling was beat, but he got there in time to break it up. Intended receiver was Jackson.
That's a big guy right there, Toriano Jackson, 6'7". Out there at wide receiver, and you're right, Kevin. He did have 2 steps on Bowling. 2 things happened. One, Vogel underthrew the ball just a little bit. He didn't get it out in front of him. Number 2, Bowling did a good job at the last minute of putting that arm up there and knocking that away to prevent the big play.
Second and 10 at the Columbus North 20. Hand off to the tailback. Boy, he runs hard. Gets 5 yards. Halliburton, 5'8", 185 pounds. He's a senior, not very tall, but you know he's strong and he is fast.
Yeah, and that one I think was Tompkins, but it's the same thing. Tompkins isn't very big either. Kevin, he's only 5'8", 165. So both those guys kind of low to the ground, kind of got that Maurice Jones-Drew kind of build. Obviously not near that as big as him, but they run the ball hard and they're able to get yards.
Tompkins stays in there as a lone. They go into I formation. They got a tailback and fullback. 2 receivers to each side. They toss it back. Coming to the near side is Tompkins, and he gets it to the 30. It's going to be right at the sticks. He is very close to a first down.
It all depends on the spot.
Looks like there might be just a half yard short. Doesn't quite get the ball or the tip of the ball to the 30-yard line, so they're calling this 4th and inches.
You have to go for it. I mean, you're down 28-0. You can't punt the ball away back here to Center Grove. You know, one thing you got to make sure you're watching on the defensive line is to make sure you don't go for that hard count. You got to watch the ball, make sure it moves, and not give them a free first down.
On the quarterback keeper, Vogel got the first down, got a good push, picks up the first down. Had a chance to talk to Columbus North head coach Tim Bless for a good 5-10 minutes before tonight's ball game. I actually went to school with Tim Bless over at the University of Indianapolis. His dad, a legendary coach, Bill Bless, coached many, many years at Indiana Central University, of course, became in University of Indianapolis. Just a great family, of course. Coach Bless, Bill Bless, the father, he has 3 sons coaching. Tim Bless, the youngest son here at Columbus North, done a fantastic job. Of course, Scott Bless down at Bloomington North, nearly defeated Center Grove last year in the sectionals. And, of course, Mark Bless coaching tonight over at Avon against Pike. But just a wonderful family, and all 3 of his sons do a great job. And Dylan Dallas with his 12th sack of the year. He's got 2 tonight. And Vogel was hit from the blind side. Just a miscommunication by Columbus North's O-line. He came in untouched.
Yeah, that would be the blind side, like they talk about with the movie, making sure his backside, blind side was protected. And Dallas came out on the outside edge on the defensive end and was untouched. They ran a little play-action play, faked the sweep play with the wingback in motion, and he went back and took 2 steps, and boom, there was Dylan Dallas for his now, 12th sack of the year, Kevin?
12th of the year for Dylan Dallas. Makes it now 2nd and 18. They do the toss back to the tailback. He's trying to get outside. That's Tompkins. No running lane for Tompkins. He is dropped for a loss, so to bring up 3rd and long. But something I did talk to Coach Tim Bless prior to tonight's game on the sideline on the far side was football's a lot about momentum, whether it's during the game or obviously getting hot at the right time. His team coming into tonight with 5 straight wins, so his team is very, very hot. But also when you talk about momentum during the game, again, they tried a risky thing. They tried to start tonight's game off with an onside kick. If that goes their way, they get the bounce. That gets his team going in the right direction, but it did backfire, and as a result, that really got the Center Grove Trojans a lot of momentum in tonight's ball game. On the middle screen, Summa with the reception, but the Trojans chop him down short of the 30.
Yeah, good little design play right there, Kevin. It picked up about 8 yards or so. Unfortunately, it was 3rd and about 22 on that play. So Center Grove once again holds. Columbus North's going to have to punt. You're right, Kevin. When you see something like that, you're trying to get momentum, but that also tells you a couple things. That tells you that they're going to try gimmick plays to try to beat you. He doesn't think that he can line up and physically beat you up and down the field, and that's when you try a play like that. There we go.
High snap, and Gideon just throws it as an incomplete pass. It should be an incomplete pass, or it's going to be intentional grounding. Should be an intentional grounding, but it might be defeats the other, which could have been if he did not get the ball back in his possession. If Center Grove picks it up, returns it for a touchdown. So at least it forces the Center Grove offense to come out and score it. And again, we do believe the flag should be intentional grounding, as he just kind of chucked it, if you will.
Kind of underhand through, kind of sidearm kind of through.
Now, they're going to wave it off. There was a receiver on that far side. There had to be at least a wide out or maybe a tight end or something of that nature. So they're going to wave it off. So it will be Center Grove football from the line of scrimmage, which is at the 30-yard line.
Well, we talked about that the first 3 times that they punted. That snap's been consistently high every time. And this time it was a little bit too high. Fumbled the snap and then just threw the incomplete pass.
So on the short field, Calvert rolls out, dumps it underneath. It is complete to Lane Morris. He's to the 5, and he's in there. Touchdown. Lane Morris on a 29-yard touchdown reception. When's the last time Center Grove has thrown 3 touchdowns in one half? Not a ball game, a half. And Lane Morris, or either for that matter. 3 touchdowns thrown by Calvert tonight. 2 to Buchanan and now Lane Morris, who was iffy to play tonight, and we've seen him twice, and now he scores a touchdown.
Oh, that was nice to see right there, Kevin. Nice, well-designed play, little bootleg play. Lane Morris came out of the backfield, ran that about a 10-yard pass, got the ball, and he looked good running the ball right there.
Wheeler's extra point kick is good, makes it now a 35-0 ball game. 7:02 to play in the first half. Again, the Trojans, offensively, they've scored 3 times, all through the air. And they scored once on special teams with Drew Wozniak. So are we up to 4?
Well, they scored 3 through the air, 1 on the ground, and then that special teams. But you're right, Kevin. I mean, very little, if ever, have I seen 3 touchdown passes in one half, much less in a game from Center Grove. But, I mean, Calvert's been impressive tonight. I don't think he's got an incomplete pass so far. And he's got 3 touchdowns on probably 4 passes, I think, total. I think he had another one out there for about a 5 or 6 yard gain on 3rd and 10. But nice play. Morris caught it on about the 25. Looked good running the ball. Broke a tackle on about the 5 and got into the end zone. But, you know, 2 touchdowns ago, Kevin, I didn't really want you to talk too much about next week. It's hard for me to believe that this game's not over. One thing you will not get tonight from this color commentary chair is an IU basketball preview. So let's get that on record. Last week, I had to listen to Kitchell talk about how great IU was and how they're back and they got everything and they got Yogi and they got Cody and they got everybody else. You will not be getting that in the second half.
We might get a Purdue basketball report in the second half from Rick Embry.
Yeah. We got equal opportunity here.
Another update, North Central still leading Lawrence Central 7-6 late in the first half. Pike in front of Avon 27-7.
Wow.
Cathedral, last report, they were absolutely blowing out Roncalli. So some other sectional championship scores from the area. Again, the winner here will play the winner between Castle and Jeffersonville. That game will kick off in about 4 minutes. Again, there's an hour difference between here and Castle High School. That's down in Newburgh, Indiana. That's near your neck of the woods, Rick Embry.
Yep, I've got a sister and her family that her kids, my niece and nephew, go to Castle High School. So I'm hoping that they can get a W, and then I'll probably have some visitors that'll be spending the night up at our house next weekend. So yeah, they've been through a lot of adversity this year, Kevin, and I'm sure we'll talk about that more if Castle's able to get a win. But they should be the favorite in that game. They've had very impressive years so far.
Ben Wheeler to kick off for the Center Grove Trojans. It's 35-0. Center Grove leading Columbus North here in the sectional championship game. Center Grove, the defending sectional champ here in number 7, beating Columbus North last year. Wheeler's kick will be taken just inside the 5. Summa, always a threat, to the 20. Center Grove doing a fine job bringing him down just short of the 25.
Good tackle right there by Daniel Gross.
Raise Trash Service, a supporter of Center Grove Trojan football. Raise Trash is a family-owned business that has been providing the Indianapolis area with quality recycling and waste disposal services since 1965. From residential to commercial to industrial, Raise Trash Service does it all. Flags down, movement. Movement on the line. It will be against the Center Grove Trojans. Rick, if Ted was here, he would say that would give Coach Moore something to talk about at halftime, some of these penalties.
Well, what's interesting is, we talked about that celebration penalty that Buchanan had after his second touchdown pass, which caused Center Grove to have to kick the ball off from the 25-yard line. And when Buchanan came off after hold for the extra point, Coach Moore was giving him an earful, let's just say that. So I'm sure there will be several things that he'll mention during halftime.
Jesse Tompkins on first down. A nice run for the Bulldogs. Picks up 9 yards. So again, the Trojans 3 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown by Lucas, and a touchdown on special teams. 6:20 to play in the second quarter. Hand off to the tailback. He gets the first down. Again, this Center Grove defense only allowing 14 points a ball game. They have been so good all season long. Tip your hat to defensive coordinator Ruben DeLuna.
Well, and the scary part is, Coach Moore talked about, and Coach DeLuna talked about this week, this was one of the first weeks that they've been healthy all year.
On the defensive side of the ball.
On the defensive side, exactly, Kevin. So, they played a lot of guys. Coach Moore talked about playing 7 linebackers, so they've got a lot of depth back there on the defensive front. But, they've lost guys this year, and other guys have just stepped in and stepped up. You had Drew Hayden that was out for 5 or 6 weeks with a tough bout of MRSA. You had Josh Piper out with a high ankle sprain for 3 or 4 weeks. You had Amaro out with a concussion. So Bowling's out with a shoulder for a few weeks. So, those guys have just stepped up, and they've just been absolutely dominant this year.
Halliburton picks up 5, brings up 2nd and 5 at the Columbus North 42. Lawrence Central now in front of North Central, 14-7. Big collision. Michael Hanlon, linebacker, with a good hit for the Center Grove Trojans. Hanlon a few weeks ago suffered a concussion, so it's great to see him back and healthy. He's a tremendous athlete, really anchors that linebacking crew for the Trojans.
What's interesting, too, is to hear when Coach Moore talks about looking and trying to get the best 13 guys or so. He takes that time during the winter on where he wants to put guys. And a lot of times people think, I got to put my best athletes on offense. I got to score. I got to outscore people. Coach Moore takes a different approach to that. And obviously it's been effective.
Tompkins cannot pick up the first down. Center Grove just does a great job sprinting to the football. They break it down. Textbook tackling, gang tackling. It's just not usually one guy. It's several red jerseys flying to the football. It's just the way you're supposed to play defense, and it's going to be 4th and 5.
Well, and that was Drew Ponder, that was Hanlon, that was Damian Stone. All of those guys met Tompkins at the line, and he did not go anywhere from there, bringing up another 4th down and punt.
Better snap for Gideon. He had to move to his right a little bit. Good punt away for Gideon, and Buchanan calls for a fair catch at the 27-yard line. $35-0, all Center Grove here in the first half. 4:04 to play in the second quarter. Again, the Trojans, 1 special teams touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown, and get this is the stat of the night, 3 passing touchdowns. And for those not familiar with Center Grove football, Center Grove primarily runs at 80, maybe 90% of the time. So to mix in the pass enough to get 3 passing touchdowns, that's something.
Well, and Calvert's thrown 85 balls, I think, all year. So,
and for Calvert coming into tonight's ball game, 8 touchdowns, and now he's got 3 tonight. Great run for the Trojans up to the 40-yard line. That's Lane Morris. That's his 2nd run of the night. Again, he's got a very sore left knee. He has been out the last 2 games, so it's great to see him out there tonight getting some reps.
Well, and I would imagine that Coach wanted to get him in there. He wanted him to go through a full pregame activity to get that loose. He's obviously going to be sore tomorrow after not playing for a couple weeks, but he wants that to get over so he's ready to go big time for next week.
Alex Lucas gets outside across midfield and pushed out of bounds at the 45. Picks up 15 yards for the Center Grove Trojans, stopping the clock at 3:38. Center Grove looking for more here late in the first half.
The thing about Calvert, when we talk about the touchdown passes, I still don't think he's thrown more than 4 or 5 passes in the first half. He's thrown 86 for the year, so that means they're averaging about 7 or 8 balls a game that he passes that he throws. That's it. He's thrown 4 or 5 in the first half, and he's got 3 touchdowns out of that. So whatever the passing rating, efficiency rating that those guys have in the NFL, Calvert's has got to be right up there.
Handoff, Lane Morris straight ahead running, picks up a couple of tough yards. Pike now leading Avon 34-7. A couple of minutes left in the first half, so Pike on its way to a sectional championship game. Fishers trailing at the half to McCutcheon 6-3. That's a little bit of a surprise.
Considering McCutcheon's 3-8, that's a big surprise.
Huge surprise. I thought Fishers might be the top team in the north. Of course, Fort Wayne Snyder also very, very good in that upper bracket. Handoff is Lucas trying to find a running lane, and he just kind of bobs and weaves his way to the 26-yard line. Again, not much there, but boy, he found a lot.
Yeah, he found a lot, and look who's out in front of him. Big boy Alex Woods is out there blocking completely down the field. Good article this week from Coach Moore about the offensive line and how steady and solid that they've been all year, those guys, including two guys that he took from the defensive line, you know, the opposite way. He needed some offensive linemen coming into this year after graduating 4 guys. He grabbed Crony and Vance and a couple others from the defense, and those guys have been great.
Boy's taking another shot to the end zone, and it's knocked away. Almost had his 4th touchdown pass of the first half. That one knocked away, looking for Bettito in the end zone. Man, I've never seen Center Grove take so many shots.
Shoot, if he'd have had that, we might have had Oregon here next week watching him pass the ball. So,
and then 2 weeks ago, Calvert ran for 2 nice runs, and one of them resulted in a touchdown. So, again, Calvert, not known to run the football, was able to run a couple of times very effectively against the Artesians.
Well, and some of that, Kevin, has got to go back to what does coaches see on the tape and the film, and you know, stuff during the regular season that we probably don't see, or he's kind of working on in practice, but they don't want to show everybody. And some of those things are things that you wait and you pull out when you actually need them. And the playoffs obviously are a time when you don't want to leave any bullets in the chamber. So Calvert's had a very impressive playoff performance to date. Very impressive performance so far tonight.
Lucas picks up 3 yards, 3rd and 7 at the Columbus North 24-yard line, 35-0. Center Grove leads it. 2 minutes to play in the first half, and Stapleton is tripped up from behind. He was tackled around the ankles, could not get outside.
Great tackle by Ash right there. And what's interesting is that's the first time we've called his name tonight, Kevin. Coming in, he was the leading tackler by far on that defense. I think he had 105 solo tackles. Next guy was at 45. That's the first time tonight that we've called Ash's name, Shaquille Ash. That's a guy that their coaching staff was very high on. That's a guy that Coach Moore specifically mentioned in the pregame about being a Division I athlete back there on defense. So, 1.5 minutes left in the second quarter. That's the first time we've called his number.
Center Grove will let the play clock run down and will take a timeout. 1:15 on the game clock. Center Grove in front, 35-0. Center Grove faced with a 4th and 10. Ball at the Columbus North 27-yard line. Trying to do the math in my head. That'd be a 40-some-yard field.
44-yarder.
So 44-yarder.
No wind, really.
No wind. I believe Ben Wheeler can kick it from this range. He has not tried one this long this season, so I don't know if Coach Moore will go that route. I do see in the huddle here on the sideline that Ben Wheeler, the field goal kicker, is in the huddle. But again, that could be a little bit of gamemanship, as obviously the Columbus North coaching staff up here in the press box looking down into that huddle and trying to figure out is Center Grove going to go for it, or will they come out with the field goal unit and kick it?
Well, and this is kind of an opportunity here for Coach Moore to possibly see if Wheeler hasn't had a field goal kick, I think, in the playoffs so far. So he might give him the opportunity, or he might just, it looks like he's putting his offense back out there.
At halftime, Lawrence Central, number 1 in the state in 5A, leading North Central 14-7. That's a heck of a ball game.
And that's at North Central, isn't it? Or is that Lawrence Central?
Had to double check on that. Passing play, and it is knocked down from behind. Buchanan was open, but the defender did a good job from behind to knock it down. Shannon McDonald knocks it down, so turnover on downs. That's the first time the Trojans have been stopped offensively.
Well, and they got pressure on Calvert right there. For the first time, he wasn't really comfortable in the pocket. He had to get rid of that a little bit sooner than he would have liked. Buchanan tried to come back to the ball, but the defensive back did a good job of knocking that down. First stop of the first half by Columbus North. They finally were able to stop Center Grove on offense. Now they get the ball back with 1:10 and all 3 of their timeouts.
That game, Rick, at North Central.
Okay.
And Avon is hosting Pike. Vogel's pass is complete across the 30. Center Grove not allowing any yards after catch. That's what I was so impressed with Warren Central, the closing speed when Center Grove would make a completed pass. There was no yards after catch. Ben Davis also very impressive as well. But Center Grove's defense, likewise, the closing speed, very, very good.
Well, we've talked about Mario Swan several times, but Zach Hart's done a good job over there of filling in for Bowling when Bowling's been out. Good closing speed right there. He limited it to a 2-yard gain. Now on second down, another pass out to the right side. Looked like they gained about 5, so that'll bring up third and about 3, Kevin.
Skylar Farmer with the reception. Brings up 3rd and 3 for the Bulldogs, trailing 35-0. 39 seconds to play. Farmer was able to get out of bounds to stop the clock. Still in the second quarter from shotgun formation. Vogel dumps it off underneath for the first down. Runs out of bounds to stop the clock at 33 seconds.
And I would expect them to try to throw one down the middle of the field now. You got all 3 timeouts. You're kind of out from under your own goalpost a little bit, got it out to the 40. So I would expect Columbus North to at least try to get a shot, take a shot down the middle of the field.
New set of downs here for the Bulldogs. Michael Vogel, junior quarterback, works from shotgun formation, getting some pressure. He eludes the pressure, picks up some yardage on the play. Clock will stop with 26 seconds. A quick timeout called by Tim Bless of Columbus North.
Hilton Dallas about had his 3rd sack of the first half right there. Offensive lineman might have gotten by with a little bit of a hold as well, because Dallas he's so quick on that defensive line, Kevin. It's very difficult for he's not obviously a 6'3", 280-pound defensive tackle, defensive end. He just gets it done with his quickness. He's able to get off the ball quick, and those offensive linemen sometimes are very difficult, not able to move their feet and get in front of him, and that's how Dallas gets a lot of his sacks in the backfield with his quickness.
Let Green with Envy make your property the envy of the neighborhood. Contact Jeff Williams at 317-495-ENVY. That's 317-495-3689 for all your residential and commercial lawn care and landscaping needs. Green with Envy, a proud supporter of Center Grove Trojan football. .26 seconds remaining, second quarter. 2nd and 8 from the Columbus North 43 for the Bulldogs. From the gun, Vogel looks right under pressure, and Dylan Dallas, his 3rd sack of the night, 13 on the season.
That'll be the first half, because I think they're just going to let that clock run out.
10 seconds and counting. Columbus North not in a hurry.
Nope.
Not going to call a timeout. They will let it run out. So the halftime score, all Center Grove, 35-0 over the Columbus North Bulldogs here in the Sectional 7 championship ball game. This is the 40th IHSAA Football State Tournament, proudly presented by the Indianapolis Colts.
Whether you are looking for a low-maintenance community in a luxurious wooded setting such as Sycamore Ridge, the breathtaking views and rolling landscapes of Kensington Grove, the gently rolling hills and convenience of Calvert Farms, the intimate luxury setting of Claiborne, site of the 2006 Homerama, or the private gated communities of Persimmon Woods or Whitetail Woods, Duke Homes has a community to fit your needs. For information about all that Duke Homes and Duke Communities have to offer, visit DukeHomes.com.
Ray Skim's got your truck, man. Big and little trucks, man. Integrated locations, man. Skim's got your truck, man. He's got SUVs, crossovers, long bed, short bed, flatbed, dump cab, crew cab, center cab, half ton, 3/4 ton, 1 ton, high cube, van, cargo van, diesel engine, gas in stock. A custom in the color you want, man. Ray Skim's got your truck, man. Big and little trucks, man. Integrated locations, man. Skim's got your truck, man. Ray Skillman's got your truck, man.
And now a word from your friends from Floors to Go.
This is Joe Trester with Floors to Go here in Greenwood, Indiana. The store has been in business since 1976. We have a new building that has state-of-the-art products: carpet, hardwood, laminate floors, vinyl tile, sheet vinyl, ceramic tile, porcelain, bamboo.
The new Floors to Go has more room, more flooring products, and more deals per square foot.
Stay tuned for more from Floors to Go.
For just 2% of a typical school's budget, high school sports give us plenty of energy and excitement. For just 2%, they also give us young people whose leadership and commitment to excellence will pay big dividends in our community for years to come. 2%. That's one investment we can all feel good about. High school sports. Pure spirit, pure sport, pure launching pad for life.
Welcome to the Ray Skillman Auto Group halftime show. Ray Skillman, where we stack 'em deep and sell 'em cheap. Trojans with a nice size lead here at halftime over Columbus North, 35-0 here in the sectional number 7 championship game. The Trojans, the defending champs here in sectional 7, beating Columbus North last year and trying to duplicate that again this year. The Trojans under Coach Moore have won 6 sectional titles, 7 sectional titles in school history. Kevin Conrad, Rick Embry with you tonight from beautiful Ray Skillman Stadium. Temperatures in the 40s tonight. A little overcast, but again, no threat of rain tonight, so that's always a good thing. I think, Rick, we're up to maybe, 5 games this year where we've had some kind of rain in the forecast. Last week we had some at Franklin. I know we had some, I believe, before the Martinsville game in the sectional opener, and of course, North Central during the regular season, and a couple of rainouts against Terre Haute North and Lawrence North. But tonight, not the case. We have beautiful weather tonight, and Center Grove, maybe the best half of football they've played all season long, clicking on all phases, special teams, defense, offense. How many times has Center Grove thrown 3 touchdown passes in one half?
Well, and I think this was a little unexpected. I mean, last week, we kind of figured that might go that way against Franklin. Franklin came in with a not very good record, and we thought it might be a little bit of a blowout. We did not expect that tonight. I mean, Columbus North, while they don't have that great of a record, 6-5, they'd won 5 games in a row, playing a tough conference. Had beat some good teams recently, but it started right from the opening kickoff. Nice onside kick attempt by Columbus North. Drew Wozniak very alertly picked it up, broke 1 tackle and was gone behind all those defensive guys that were looking for the onside kick. Once he returned that, the defense got a couple stops. The offense was dominant again in the first half. Big plays not only from the running game but also from the passing game, which is unusual, like you said. And this one's turned into a rout. So like you said, Kevin, I think it has been one of their more impressive halves of the year.
Here's a quick scoring summary from the first half. Like Rick mentioned, Center Grove got off to a great start. Columbus North tried a trick play from the get-go. They tried an onside kick to begin the ball game and backfired. The Trojans recovered the football on the front line. Drew Wozniak Jr. scooped it up, returned it 53 yards for a touchdown. So right off the bat in just 9 seconds, Center Grove led 7-0. Columbus North's first offensive drive was stalled and resulted in a punt. Center Grove on its first true offensive drive of the ball game. Luke Calvert finds Kyle Buchanan on a 30-yard touchdown pass with 4:03 to play in the first quarter to make it 14-0. Columbus North's second offensive drive resulted in a punt. Center Grove comes back with Calvert to Buchanan again. 37-yard touchdown pass with 57 seconds to play in the opening quarter. Center Grove led 21-zip after the first quarter. Columbus North forced a punt again. Center Grove followed that up with Lucas on that double handoff play. Ran it 57 yards for a touchdown with 11-12 to play in the second quarter. It was 28-zip Center Grove. Columbus North on the ensuing drive forced to punt once again. Actually, they turned it over on downs. They went for it on fourth down, could not convert. And Lane Morris, who played sparingly here in the first half, he's coming back from a knee injury. Ran the ball twice and did catch a touchdown pass, 29 yards from Calvert. With 7:02 to play in the first half, made it 35-0. And then the next drive for Columbus North, again, forced a punt. And then the Bulldogs come out and force a turnover on downs. Good defensive stop by the Columbus North defense. And then the Columbus North squad ran out the clock to conclude the first half. Center Grove in front 35-0. And Rick, we're taking this time before we get our stats handed to us, looking at some other scores. The winner here plays the winner between Castle and Jeffersonville. Castle has the early lead in that ball game, 7-0. Again, they're on Central Time, so that game actually started at 8 o'clock our time, so about 19 minutes ago. So Castle with the early lead against Jeffersonville, that game being played at Castle, 7-0. And Castle did an onside kick, and I do believe they did recover. So Castle may be on its second drive of the ball game down in the South. And for those listening, if Castle wins that sectional championship, Castle will come here next Friday night at 8 o'clock to play the Center Grove Trojans for the regional championship. And if Jeffersonville beats Castle, then Center Grove will go to Jeffersonville next Friday night to play the regional championship at 7:30. So, Rick, a lot of interesting scores coming in here at halftime. 14-7. North Central, the other mixed school, still alive, trailing Lawrence Central. So they're holding strong.
That's a close game, a lot closer than what we anticipated. Obviously, when we talk about the next team down the road, and you know, we don't want to discount the second half, but it would take a comeback of epic proportions for Columbus North to turn this game around after being down 35-0. But obviously, looking ahead, the Castle Ball Club that we talked about as being the probable team that Center Grove would play is a very impressive team. A lot of times we talk about, you know, the teams from the South, and me being from the Evansville area, I know that Castle's kind of the big dog down there. They don't have any other 5A schools that are in the Evansville area, so their sectional consists of Bedford North Lawrence, Jeffersonville, New Albany. Those teams are in their sectional, so they don't have Evansville North is the other one that's in their sectional, so they do have one Evansville team. But, I mean, Castle's undefeated this year, have had a very impressive year. They actually played Terre Haute North in the opening game of the year, so they have tried to upgrade their schedule a little bit. They beat Terre Haute North the first game of the year, 35-24. That obviously Terre Haute North has been a very good team this year, had one of their better years, probably feels like they should have beat Center Grove in that game over there. So the other thing to factor in on that Castle team is they beat Terre Haute North with a freshman quarterback. Their senior quarterback, Gillis, missed the first two games of the year and has turned around since then, and he's set an all-time Castle passing record this year. So if we do get Castle next week up here, it'll be a much different look than what Center Grove has seen throughout this year. You're going to get a quarterback, and obviously we played against a couple very good quarterbacks. We played against Etling from Terre Haute South that's going to Purdue. The Martinsville quarterback was very good as well, big kid. But Gillis will show us something. A very successful, very good quarterback. In Castle will come in here looking to feeling like they're the underdog, feeling like they got nothing to lose, and it should be a fantastic game if that's what plays out.
Another update on Castle. They're now in front of Jeffersonville 14-0. And a little more about Castle. They are ranked 10th in the computer rankings in Class 5A. Center Grove number 2 in the computer rankings in Class 5A. And Rick, some other scores around the state, some other 5A sectional championship scores, maybe some surprising scores. Fort Wayne Snyder trailing Fort Wayne North 14-13. I do believe that game's at the half. Snyder 11-0, undefeated on the year. Fort Wayne North at 9-2, also a very respectable record. Maybe the biggest surprise right now, you got Lafayette McCutcheon, who's 3-8, taking on Fishers at Fishers. Fishers 8-3. Last report, McCutcheon was leading 6-3.
Yeah, it's 6-3 at halftime. That one's a surprise, Kevin, because they played earlier this year, and Fishers beat them 34-6. So, and that game's at Fishers, so you can't even point to, hey, it's up at McCutcheon. Weird things happen when you're on the road. The Snyder North game, those two teams are both, Snyder's 11-0, North's 9-2. First time they played, Snyder beat them 17-6 this year. So not a big difference right there in that game, but obviously Snyder's ranked 5th and undefeated, so that would be a little bit of a surprise. The Fishers game is a big surprise. Lawrence Central, North Central so far, the closeness of that one is obviously a surprise. Pike Avon, like you mentioned before, that's 34-6 or something. 34-10 at half, and that's a big surprise because I don't think we would have been surprised if Pike won, but the length and margin of that game at halftime is definitely a surprise, and that's at Avon. So Pike looks like they're turning things around after a little bit of a slow start this year as well. So if things hold up the way they are, you're talking about Pike, LC next week. I think that game's at Lawrence Central, or would be at Lawrence Central, and then you'd have Castle at Center Grove here in the South semi-state.
And Rick, if the seeds hold out, or the rankings, if you will, Center Grove number 2, Lawrence Central number 1 in the computer rankings. So if Center Grove's able to win tonight, regional championship next week. Lawrence Central wins tonight. Again, they're in a dogfight right now, 14-7 at halftime, like you mentioned, against North Central. But if, again, I'm just playing this out on paper, Lawrence Central wins out. They play Pike next week. Center Grove wins next week. You're looking at a semi-state right back here at Center Grove. So when's the last time Center Grove's been able to host a sectional championship, a regional championship, and possibly a semi-state championship? Again, though, like you mentioned, Pike is playing some great football. Right now they're leading 34-10 over Avon. Not surprised that they're leading, but I'm kind of surprised by that margin. Last year, Avon beat Pike in the sectional 24-21. And here it is 1 year later, and it's 34-10 at halftime. And I realize, obviously, with high school football, you're going to lose guys through graduation. And obviously, you get to this point in the season, injury is also a very critical part of football. And we've talked to Coach Moore about it. I know Coach Bless, he's gone through his fair share of penalties this year with his running backs and so forth. And Center Grove has been hit with that same problem here in the last couple of weeks, losing Logan Hudson last week to an injury. Great to see Lane Morris back tonight after missing a couple of games. Of course, we lost Max Norris, the Rocket, the sophomore sensation, after week 3 against Carmel. He has been out since then. So thankfully for the Center Grove Trojans, they've got wonderful depth at running back this year. I think they began the year with 7-9 guys, and if you heard Coach Moore in the pregame show, he said, we're down to 2.
Well, and that's what makes what Coach Moore is doing with this team, and really every year, so special. I mean, you don't rely on one guy in the backfield. One guy for Center Grove is not going to get 2,000 yards rushing. You very rarely have a guy that gets 1,000 or 1,500 yards rushing, even with the great running backs that they've had between Jimmy Daggett, between Spencer Weeks the last couple of years. The big team in 2008 was Swift and Tanner Riley and Jordan Llewellyn. I mean, those guys, even probably the leading rusher that year, didn't have more than 1,200 or 1,300 yards. But what that does is those other guys better be ready. And they've done a fantastic job of building that depth. I mean, you've had guys like Lee Klinker and Kevin Thomas and those guys come in. Obviously, Alex Lucas wasn't playing at the start of the year. He's come in and basically carried Center Grove to the Ben Davis game. Stapleton's been consistent all year, though he hasn't carried the ball very much. Tonight you've got Calvin Daggett, a sophomore, playing a lot. So, I mean, a lot of that points to one thing, a dominant offensive line. And those guys are the ones that have stayed healthy this year. And credit to Coach Moore, Coach Siderwitz, Coach McKee that coaches the offensive line. And it helps with those guys. It's getting those guys ready so that you can plug in pieces in the backfield and be successful.
Here's a nice, interesting statistic that I just read here on Twitter. If Center Grove wins tonight, this football game, Center Grove football will be, or Center Grove High School will be one of 2 schools in the state to qualify for regionals in every fall sport. That's pretty impressive. So Center Grove can win tonight with the football team. Center Grove will play in the regional next Friday night. So Center Grove will be just one of 2 schools this fall to qualify for a regional in every fall sport.
That is very impressive. That's a credit to Athletic Director John Zwitt and Assistant Athletic Director Doug Shornick that all of those teams, but you're right. I mean, you talk about tennis made it to the state finals. Cross country team made it to the semi-state and barely didn't advance to the state finals without their best girls runner. Boys made it to the semi-state. The volleyball team won the sectional over a favored Franklin team, so they made it to the regional. So a very interesting statistic right there, Kevin.
Rick, you know what that means?
We're getting ready to start the second half.
We're ready for some Center Grove football here in the second half, so that's going to conclude our Ray Skillman Auto Group halftime show. Center Grove in front, 35-0 over the Columbus North Bulldogs here in the sectional number 7 championship game. Stay tuned, we'll have the second half coming up next. This is the 40th IHSAA Football State Tournament, proudly presented by the Indianapolis Colts.
The hot-looking Buicks are on sale now at Ray Skillman Southside Buick GMC. Great style, great selection, and great savings on over 300 new Buicks. Get a 2012 Buick Verano as low as $169 a month, or a 2012 Buick LaCrosse as low as $249 a month, or get a 2012 Buick Enclave as low as $279 a month. The hot-looking Buicks are on sale now at Ray Skillman Southside Buick GMC.
And now a word from your friends from Floors to Go.
This is Joe Trester with Floors to Go here in Greenwood, Indiana. The store has been in business since 1976. We have a new building that has state-of-the-art products: carpet, hardwood, laminate floors, vinyl tile, sheet vinyl, ceramic tile, porcelain, bamboo.
The new Floors to Go has more room, more flooring products, and more deals per square foot.
Stay tuned for more from Floors to Go.
Center Grove Trojans leading 35-0. Moments away before starting the second half. Fabulous first half for the Center Grove Trojans, scoring a touchdown on special teams, 3 passing touchdowns, and 1 running touchdown for Center Grove. Center Grove controlling the line of scrimmage, but we still have 2 quarters to play here. Again, you know there's a lot of pride on that far sideline. Coach Tim Bless does a wonderful job at Columbus North. Coaches these young men up. Very prideful program, so you know they're going to come out here swinging in the second half. And Rick Embry, the Trojans have to be ready. They're going to get a great shot here from Columbus North. You know they're not going to just roll over and die.
Yeah, and they get the ball at the start of the second half here, so it'll be interesting to see what Coach Bless and his staff, adjustment-wise, have made during the halftime. And they're hoping they can get a few first downs, get rolling. You know, obviously it's going to involve Center Grove turning the ball over or getting a few onside kicks or something like that. But, you know, they're hoping they can move the ball in this first drive and get a little bit of confidence on that offensive side.
Jeffersonville and Sectional 8 championship game now on the scoreboard, trailing Castle 14-8. So the Red Devils on the scoreboard, trailing Castle 14-8. Ben Wheeler kicks off to begin the second half, and it's going to be taken from the 1-yard line. Sama, again, a great threat here to return for touchdowns. He's got a couple this year. Good job by the Trojans, staying in their lanes and making the tackle at the 20-yard line.
Well, and that was number 30 for Center Grove, Chris Root, another one of those linebackers that's filled in this year and played fantastically when he's had to fill in for injured guys. But good job of coverage by the Center Grove. You see a lot of starters on defense that are actually on that kickoff team. So obviously Coach Moore places an emphasis on that to make sure that you don't give up any long returns. Oh, wow.
Vogel hit in the backfield. They cannot keep Dylan Dallas out of the backfield. They just cannot get him blocked.
Not a sack, but a tackle for loss. So Dylan Dallas has just been all over the place, and you're exactly right. You know, somebody like that, you better make sure you have a keep an eye on, and you have somebody specifically blocking him. They haven't done that all game. Loss of 2.
Yeah, he's one you want to account for. You game plan against a guy like Dylan Dallas. A loss of 2 for the Bulldogs, 2nd and 12 at the 19-yard line. On play action, he's under pressure. Another sack by the Trojans. This time it's going to be Drew Ponder. Ponder, number 68.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see who they give that to, because Dallas was in there. Somebody tripped up the quarterback, and then it might have been Kelsheimer. It might have been Hayden. It might have been Ponder. I mean, it was a meeting of the and they did a little linebacker blitz right there. So Kelsheimer was in the backfield as well. So another 3rd and very long for Columbus North.
Bulldogs having difficulty run the ball or pass the ball. They'll try this one right up the gut. A few positive yards, but well short of the first down. Some other score updates in Class 5A sectional championship games. Maryville leading Crown Point in sectional number 1, 7-0. Fort Wayne Snyder last report in sectional 3, trailing Fort Wayne North 14-13. Fisher is back in front of McCutcheon 10-6. That game in sectional 4, 3rd quarter. Castle again leading Jeffersonville 14-8. Pike leading Avon 34-10, and North Central trailing Lawrence Central 14-7. And Ackerman calls for a fair catch at the 45-yard line. And also last report we heard Cathedral in Class 4A winning big over Roncalli 27-7. Roncalli scoring a touchdown right before halftime.
I think Indian Creek's up at halftime 13-7, another Johnson County team. Tough matchup they have tonight. Looks like Mario Swan and number 2 for Columbus North, Justin Huser, got tangled up a little bit. It'll be interesting to see if they do a little offsetting personal foul calls, or if that's going to be against one or the other.
Block in the back against Center Grove. 10-yard penalty. Trojan fans, if you're in need of air duct cleaning or dryer vent cleaning, give Elmer James of Air Cleaning Experts a call at 317-889-1099 or online at aircleaningexperts.com. Air Cleaning Experts has earned the prestigious Angie's List Super Service Award the past 5 years. And if Center Grove has a big margin in victory tonight, that will be your discount next week for air duct cleaning or vent cleaning. What was it, $56 off last week with Center Grove's 56-point win over Franklin.
Yep, talked to Mr. Elmer at church on Sunday and said we dialed up another big one for you, and he just shook his head and said, keep it coming, boys, keep it coming. So he actually had 2 or 3 last week that I think called him and said, hey, do I get that discount? So
great to hear, giving him some business as he supports our Center Grove football broadcast. A good run by Alex Lucas. 5-yard pickup just across the 40-yard line to bring up 3rd and 4 for the Center Grove Trojans, a long 4.
They told me he was also going to have to figure out something for basketball as well, Kevin. So he's tasked me with trying to figure out how to do something similar to that in basketball. And I said, I don't know if Center Grove's going to beat anybody by 60 or 70 points in basketball. That's pretty difficult to do.
And talking to Coach Hawkins, Center Grove varsity basketball coach, he said they're going to be fast and they're going to be some pretty good, darn good shooters from the outside. So maybe we'll set something up on 3-point shots or something along that line. Buchanan with the reception, just a yard short out of the first down. He had to come back to make the catch, and as a result, he lost about 1 yard on the catch. Otherwise, he would have gotten the first down. So, Rick, tough call here. 4th and 1. Center Grove at the moment looking like they're going to go for it.
No hesitation right there by Coach Moore. 4th and 1 on your own 44-yard line. You know, he probably doesn't do this if it's a 14-7 game or something like that. You don't want to give Columbus North a short field, but I think he feels obviously confident in his offensive line that they're going to be able to get that 1 yard.
Calvert barking out the signals. He may just try to do the hard count. Is he going to snap the football? No, he will not. He calls for the timeout. Could not draw the Columbus North D-line offside. So the Trojans, one would think, after the timeout, will come out with the punting unit. Ben Wheeler yet to punt tonight for the Center Grove Trojans. He's averaging 34 yards per punt. The only stop for the Bulldogs in the first half was a turnover on downs. Other than that, Center Grove scored on each of its possessions.
Your favorite song on the intercom right now, Kevin? Little Rock'em Gangnam Style. So, looking forward to hearing your rendition of that.
I think I'll stick to the play-by-play announcing.
I think I've heard about 15 versions from my 3 boys this week on things they've come up with at school for that, and probably none of them can be repeated over the broadcast.
Timeout called by Center Grove head coach Eric Moore. 7:59 to play here in the third quarter. 35-0. Center Grove in front. Rick got the new iPhone this week, but you know what? Something I probably should have done is charged it up earlier today. I am now out. So I will rely on you to keep us up to date on scores from other sectional games. Twitter is a wonderful thing, let me tell you, especially on a Friday night when you can get all the updates immediately from other games from around the state. But my phone is now dead. So I remember to charge it or bring the power cord next time.
Yeah, I've had that happen a couple times, so I make sure I charge it about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Kevin, in anticipation of that.
All those scores coming through so fast just to drain the juice from my new iPhone. So the Trojans come back out on the field with 4th and 1. Ben Wheeler out there to punt this one away. First punt of the night for Wheeler. Summa back deep for Columbus North at around his 25-yard line. They go back to Wheeler with a good snap. High punt, drives it inside the 20. Summa from the 18, tries to get down the sideline. Good coverage by the Center Grove Trojans. They knock him out of bounds just across the 25-yard line.
About a 38-yard punt right there by Wheeler. A very good job also of pinning Summa over to the sideline. So you take some of that speed and effectiveness of a big returner away whenever you're able to pin them back deep like that into the corner. So limited him to about a 5-yard return. Columbus North will take over on the 25.
7:47 to play, third quarter, 35-0. Center Grove leads it. Neither team yet to score here in the second half. This is the second offensive drive for the Bulldogs in the second half. A quick hitter on the pass. It is complete. Good tackle by the Trojans. Aaron Hunt with the coverage for the Center Grove Trojans. Aaron Hunt, a 5'11", 170-pound junior defensive back, and something Coach Moore talked about in the pregame show with this year's Center Grove defense. They've been able to use a lot of different guys throughout the season, so now that they're here in the state tournament, they can keep guys rested. They keep them fresh, whether it's guys on the D-line or in the secondary, but they have a lot of guys they've used this year on defense.
Well, and that's an important thing, especially as you get deeper and deeper in the tournament. If you're able to do that and especially able to get some of these starters out after a few quarters, you're able to save your legs a lot more for what happens and later on in the tournament. So, Kevin, look at there, bud. Ask and you shall receive. You just had somebody come up to the press box, must have been listening, and dialed him up a little phone charger. Now he's going to see if the magic of the Apple products will work. And we got electricity up here. Looky there.
I think I'm back in action. Again, my iPhone, get it back on the charger. I believe that's probably an assist from our cameraman, Matt Murray.
There you go.
So the Trojan defense stopping Columbus North. 4th and 1 the call. May want to watch out for a fake here by the Bulldogs.
I'm actually surprised they're not going for it here, but you're right, Kevin. You got to really pay attention. They've got the first string defense back out there, so they're anticipating something here.
It's a low punt. Gideon got it off. Good job by the senior. Buchanan calls for the fair catch at the 36-yard line.
And a good job by Buchanan coming up and getting that ball. We always talk about you know, how that saves. It's kind of a thankless job back there on punt return, but he was able to come up about 5 yards and receive that and fair catch it on the 36. If he doesn't catch that, it probably rolls inside the 25. So he doesn't get credit for any yardage there, but he probably saved 11 yards or so.
Couple of punts here for the Bulldogs in the second half. Again, just not able to move the football offensively. Hand off to Alex Lucas, the junior, and the Bulldogs swarm him in the backfield, dropping him at the 35 for a loss of a yard.
Yeah, you're right. The second half has been more of a just back and forth a little bit. Center Grove hasn't moved the ball on the first drive that they had, and loss of yardage there on the first down of the second drive. So you always worry about that. You look at the scoreboard, you're up 35-0. You don't know if you're going to come out and be as hungry in the second half as you were in the first half. You have to make sure you don't get anybody hurt in the second half.
Shaquille Ash with the tackle. Alex Lucas breaks a couple of arm tackles, spin move, gets it to the 45, trying to push that pile to the 46. That's where the first down marker is. He's going to be a yard short. Third and a long yard coming up here for the Center Grove Trojans. Columbus North.
Jeffersonville has taken their first lead of the game, 15-14 over Castle. Snyder's also up 21-14, 6 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Columbus North has punted the ball 6 times tonight, and Alex Lucas caught in the backfield, dropped for a loss, does not pick up the first down. Good tackle by Solomon Knight. He's a 6-foot senior defensive lineman. So to bring up 4th and 1, and we will see Ben Wheeler and the punting unit again for the Trojans.
Yeah, Coach Moore's not going to be happy with that. I mean, third and short, and you're not able to pick up a yard. So that's one of those points that he's going to probably emphasize quite a bit in the film work tomorrow and Monday when they look at that.
Good job by Wheeler to adjust to that snap. It's going to be taken at the 24-yard line. Swan misses on the tackle, and a return by Summit to the 35, 36-yard line.
Kevin, you still having technical difficulties over there?
Yeah. I don't think this particular charger is going to work with my iPhone for some reason. That's okay. We got Rick here up and running, fully charged.
Yeah, I don't have the Twitter feeds that you have all over the place. So we'll manage with some Gridiron Digest updates.
35-0. Center Grove in front. 3:47 to play. The quarterback keeps it.
The Wildcat
gets it across the 40.
Josh Holt.
Yeah, Josh Holt setting up as the quarterback that time in place of Vogel. Like you said, running that Wildcat formation. Good yardage. Picks up 6 yards. Again, here in the second half, 4 punts total, 2 for each team. Minimal offense, a lot of defense. .325 and counting here in the third quarter. So Jeffersonville back in front, right, of Castle?
15-14, still the first quarter.
Again, Jeffersonville wins that ball game. Center Grove would go to Jeffersonville for the regional. Pass is incomplete by Holt. Looking for Skylar Farmer, yep. They stayed with that Wildcat formation. Josh Holt, the QB that time. Incomplete pass. Again, you got to try things. I give a lot of credit to Tim Bless. I mean, they've tried to run the ball. They've tried to do play action. Now trying the Wildcat. So trying to make these in-game adjustments, trying to find something here offensively that will work against the Center Grove defense.
Well, and that's just a credit to the defense as well, that they're trying a bunch of different things, and they've had almost no success with whatever that they've tried. Looks like Fisher's starting to stretch it out a little bit. They're up 17-6 over McCutcheon.
Dallas shoots through there. On that point of attack, he made the running back cut back, and Center Grove eventually took him down. Makes it now 4th and 2. It appears Columbus North with the ball near midfield, down 35 zip. They will go for it here on 4th and 2. Ball at the 44. Need to get it to the 46 for a first down. Two-man shift to the right side for the Bulldogs. I formation. Going with the power game and do not get it. Center Grove will force a turnover on downs. Just could not get a push at all.
You got big Dimitri Wilson in the middle there. Obviously a big guy, run stopper in the middle. You had McFatridge in the backfield. You had Dylan Dallas in the backfield, and great job of meeting Tompkins right at the line of scrimmage, then pushed him back, didn't allow him to get the first down.
Tonight's game being brought to you by Winterwood Mortgage, your hometown mortgage company. Supporting your hometown Trojans. Call today, 800-888-1135, or online at winterwood.net. Ball at the Columbus North 45-yard line, 2:17 to play. Center Grove 35-0. The ball is loose. A flag is down. I'm not for sure if he got a clean handoff or not. We have a new running back in there, number 22 for the Center Grove Trojans. That's Lee Klinker. He's a freshman. And Klinker either didn't get it. One would say you put the blame on the freshman, right? You're a freshman after all.
Yep.
I'm not for sure what exactly. It was, again, some problem with the exchange.
Yeah.
And Columbus North recovered.
Best thing he can do is walk over to the senior quarterback and say, my fault, our junior quarterback.
First turnover of the night for the Center Grove Trojans. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs from their own 38-yard line. Vogel, Sama, incomplete. Could not step into it and make that good, strong throw. Who else is in there?
Yep.
Dylan Dallas putting pressure. Number 4 for the Center Grove Trojans. That's why Vogel could not step into it and get anything on that pass. He underthrows Sama. Sama was open, but Vogel just could not put anything on it.
The thing that makes it tricky about getting Dylan Dallas and concentrating on him is he moves all around that defensive line. It's not just out there at defensive end. Sometimes he's in there at defensive tackle. Sometimes he's out at left defensive end. So they move him around very effectively. Coach DeLuna realizes he has a threat, and he's got him moved around, so it's very difficult to account for him.
Toss goes to Tompkins. Hit at the 40. Center Grove's defense also just very physical on that point of attack on that D-line. Just very physical. They pursue the ball quickly. They just don't allow much as far as any kind of a running lane.
Well, and what's even more impressive about this performance is, it's not like they got Columbus North. They got a group over there with a bunch of 150-pound offensive linemen. I mean, they're sitting there with a high Division I prospect and number 56, Thomas Schoaf, who's going to BYU, and we haven't called his name, and he just got beat by Dylan Dallas right there badly. So that just makes it that much more impressive how great that defensive front four has been.
Speed, quickness, right there. I was watching Dylan Dallas. He kind of fakes to the right, to the outside, cut in left, right in front of Schoaf, and went right by him. Again, great speed, great quickness by Dylan Dallas. An incomplete pass on 4th and 9. Punting situation here for Columbus North. This will be their 7th punt of the night.
I got a score from Mr. Kitchell. Lewis Cass 14-0 at halftime. They are up. So
that's Ted's alma mater.
He'll be happy to hear that.
Punt rolls inside the 25, still rolling to the 23-yard line. Well done by Gideon. 1:08 to play. Third quarter. Center Grove 35, Columbus North 0.
Rick, tacked on another touchdown. They're up now 24-6.
So say, Rick, a famous or a good place you like to hang out with your family is over at Ella's Frozen Yogurt. Great place to go, especially after Trojan Friday nights.
Absolutely. Doesn't matter what the temperature is outside, Kevin. Ella's is always good.
Located right there at the corner of Fairview and State Road 135 behind Mike's Car Wash. Ella's offers more seating, a bigger patio, and a party room. Ella's has 10 mouth-watering yogurt flavors and more than 80 toppings. Of course, Ted likes what? Vanilla and chocolate. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
How about you, Rick? You got any favorites?
Well, I tell you what, I like. I'm a big Reese's guy. But I'll tell you what, when one 7-year-old Grant Embry gets there, by golly, he gets about 5 pounds of
toppings,
whatever toppings they have. A little bit of everything. Worms. You got Oreos. You got chocolate chips, cookie dough, Reese's. He hits them all up. About $15 worth normally.
Of course, Rick, the newest attraction over there is the party room called Ella's Place. It's a great place to have private gatherings, team parties. We celebrate that Super Bowl championship, or a place to celebrate just a big win. Again, you can reserve Ella's Place for your next special event by going online at ellasfrozennYogurt.com. Again, have swirls of fun at Ella's Frozen Yogurt.
You know what, Kevin? We went in there a couple weeks ago after the game, me and one of my sons, and they not only had the ice cream, but they had hot chocolate. And I'll tell you what, that was some of the best hot chocolate that I've ever had. So you got that in addition to the great ice cream.
1:08 to play here in the third. Center Grove in front, 35-zip, and Calvert gets hit from the blind side. He gets to his feet. He's okay. Pass was a little bit underthrown. He had to get rid of it quickly. He was getting heavy pressure from Luke Teague on his blind side.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to see if you're a Center Grove coach, is to see your quarterback getting ready to get hit untouched from the defensive end coming around the edge.
Great sportsmanship. You saw Teague make sure Luke Calvert was fine, gave him a high five following the play. That's class from this Columbus North football team.
Score from up north: Maryville 10, Crown Point 0. Maryville should win that game. They won pretty handily the first time those two teams played, 40-12.
Alex Lucas, they get him around the ankle, trips him up at the 30, just short of the first down. It'll bring up 3rd and 3 for the Center Grove Trojans.
I'm sure Coach Moore's not going to be too pleased with his offense here in the third quarter. So far they've been 2 punts. Now it's 3rd and 3. So I'm sure he'd like to see a pretty good drive here by that first team offense, and then he would expect to see them get an early shower.
Calvert, quick drop pass to Matt O'Brien. It is complete. A good spot will get him a first down. Let's see where they put it down. It's going to be close, Rick.
It is going to be close. I don't think they got a good spot.
Maybe a yard short. They're going to call a timeout and bring out the chain gain to give it a measure. At least they're going to eyeball it at this moment.
Oh, just called it. He didn't want to bother bringing those chains
from one side to the other. Let's just call it. They call it a first down for Center Grove.
You know what? That's a lot better than a couple weeks ago when those referees continued to call holding penalties in a 5-touchdown game. Pike 41, Avon 10, late third quarter. That ball game's over.
After 3 complete here at Ray Skillman Stadium, all Center Grove over Columbus North here in the Sectional 7 championship game, 35-0. This is the 40th IHSAA Football State Tournament, proudly presented by the Indianapolis Colts.
The hot-looking Buicks are on sale now at Ray Skillman Southside Buick GMC. Great style, great selection, and great savings on over 300 new Buicks. Get a 2012 Buick Verano as low as $169 a month, or a 2012 Buick LaCrosse as low as $249 a month, or get a 2012 Buick Enclave as low as $279 a month. The hot-looking Buicks are on sale now at Ray Skillman Southside Buick GMC.
Tonight's Center Grove football game is being brought to you by Stadium Graphics, Rick Clark and family, the Center Grove Applebee's, Floors to Go, McAllister Power Systems, Duke Homes, Wellborn Realty, Honeywell, Green with Envy, Precision Transportation Solutions, Air Cleaning Experts, Ray's Trash Service, Ella's Frozen Yogurt, Jets Pizza, Roofing Made Easy, Ray Skillman Auto Group, Draft and Peak Catering, and Winterwood Mortgage. After 3 quarters at Ray Skillman Stadium, Center Grove with a commanding 35-0 lead over the Columbus North Bulldogs here in the sectional number 7 title game. Center Grove needs to hang on for 12 more minutes to advance to the regional championship next Friday night to take on either Castle or Jeffersonville. Last report there at Castle, it was Jeffersonville in front by 1 point. Big hit and tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Calvin Daggett's first run of the night. Good hit by the Bulldogs, dropping him for a 1-yard loss.
Yeah, good job by that defensive front by Columbus North of stopping Daggett. They've done a good job this second half. I mean, they haven't allowed this 35-0 halftime game to become a 60 or 70 point blowout, and that's a credit to that coaching staff.
Hand off. Stapleton hadn't called his name or number for quite a while. Nice run. Takes a high hit to the face mask area. He appears to be okay. Boy, he runs hard, doesn't he?
Absolutely. And the thing he does very well, and I'm sure it's partially due to his hurdling background, is he keeps those knees high. I mean, when he runs hard, and he keeps those knees and legs high, and that's hard to tackle him around the ankle, or if somebody does get him around the ankle, he continues to move those feet, and he's able to get out of those ankle tackles. It's like he picked up a first down, Kevin.
It is enough for a first down. Ball at the Trojan 43. 11 minutes to play in the ball game. And Daggett is drilled again behind the line of scrimmage. Did he run into his own man?
He ran into Stapleton.
Ran into his own man, Stapleton, and down the field. Some extracurricular activity between one of the Center Grove blockers and a defensive player against Columbus North. Let's see if this might be offsetting penalties, but things getting a little chippy here in the fourth quarter. Frustration obviously setting in here for the Bulldogs.
You know, one thing we need to make sure we mention, Kevin, is we've talked about those offensive linemen. Let's make sure we mention those guys. Right tackle, Mitch McKee, number 51. Right guard, Nathan Croney, number 55. Center, we've talked about Alex Woods, number 71, a junior. Left guard, Logan Battle, number 66. Left tackle, Sam Hayes, number 63. I mean, those guys have been very impressive, not only tonight's game, but throughout the year. I'll go back to that Ben Davis game when going into that game, I don't think too many people expected Center Grove to pull out that win, but I think the defensive line or the offensive line that game decided we're going to dominate this game, and they did. They dominated the front four for Ben Davis and were a huge part of that Center Grove win.
Penalty against Center Grove. It's a 15-yard penalty, so makes it second and very, very long. Completed pass to Kevin Watson, 5'11", 195-pound senior. His first action of the night for the Center Grove Trojans. Ball will be placed at the 38-yard line. Brings up 3rd and 15. Stadium Graphics, look like a pro, play like a champion. Like Stadium Graphics on Facebook and visit Stadium Graphics online at stadiumgraphics.com. Stadium Graphics, a proud supporter of Center Grove Trojan football. 3rd 15, the pitch. Good run by Watson. Not much there, but boy, he earned every bit of it. It's going to be well short of the first down. We'll see Center Grove punting the ball for a 3rd time here in the second half. Fourth and 11.
Another punt for Center Grove.
Summa drops back just inside his 30-yard line. Wheeler last time was able to pin him to the sideline. See what he gets off here. Very high. It'll be a fair catch by Summa at the 27-yard line. They brought the house. Columbus North brought 10 guys trying to block the punt. Center Grove doing a great job blocking. And as a result, Summa, with nobody back to block for him, had to call for the fair catch.
A couple new faces there on defense, Kevin, coming in. One of the stars of the game tonight, number 38, Drew Wozniak's in at cornerback. Number 21, Cole Fresher, is in at safety as well. Big Dimitri Wilson's in there on the defensive line as well.
Also, we see Zach Hart, number 25, cornerback on that far sideline, now in for the Trojans. Vogel on the bootleg, throws it, and it is knocked down by Michael Hanlon. Hanlon, linebacker, he has pretty good height. He stands at 6'1". He looks taller than that, but he was able to get that hand up in the air and knock it down.
Well,
what a play.
Nice athletic play by Hanlon. It looked like that ball was very good pass. I mean, floated in there pretty good. Looked like it was going to get over the linebacker's head. Hanlon reached up that big left hand. He was about a step behind him. He was able to knock that away. Fantastic play by Hanlon.
Halliburton takes the hand off, gets the first down. Good run by Halliburton. Last week, Dimitri Wilson was our player of the game, had several tackles for loss of yardage against the Franklin Grizzly Cubs. And again, that was our opinion last week, and I did see this week online at CenterGroveFootball.com that the coaching staff for Center Grove thought the same thing. He was the defensive player of the week, according to Coach Moore and his staff. He did play extremely well last week against Franklin.
Well, and that was big because Franklin just wanted to kind of run that fullback straight up the middle, and you put Dimitri in there. It's very difficult for anybody to be able to run up the middle with any success.
Quick pass here to the near side. Another first down for Columbus North. Well done by Vogel. It's number 16, Skylar Farmer. Good run after the catch by Farmer. Gets it to the Center Grove 45-yard line. Again, Center Grove going to some new faces here defensively.
Number 94 is in for Center Grove, Gavin Everett, 6'2", 190, sophomore defensive end.
Halliburton, another nice run, breaking through several tackles. Gets it to the 31-yard line. Another first down for Columbus North. All of a sudden, the Trojans not tackling as well. You can tell a little bit of a difference, obviously, going from the starters to the junior varsity guys.
Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. I mean, you go from that front four of Hayden Ponder, Dylan Dallas to a few of the backups in there. Good run right there by Halliburton. He stayed low to the ground, broke a couple tackles. He's difficult to bring down.
Vogel hands it off right up the gut. Good running play again for the Bulldogs. Jamal Halliburton, senior, picks up good yardage on first down. Give him 7 yards. Brings up 2nd and 3 at the Trojan 24-yard line.
Fisher's 31, McCutcheon 6, LC 21, North Central 7. Updates there. Looks like Lawrence Central's gonna win that and more than likely play Pike next week. And that'll be at Lawrence Central. Fishers looks like they're going to advance as well. They'll be on the road next week, either Fort Wayne Snyder or Fort Wayne North.
Third and a couple coming up for Columbus North. Remember, Trojan fans, after the Trojan Friday night football games, meet your friends at the Center Grove Applebee's at the corner of State Road 135 and Smith Valley Road. Enjoy half-price appetizers starting at 9 o'clock every night. The Center Grove Applebee's, there's no place like the neighborhood. Another good run for the Bulldogs as they push on, trying to pick up their first score of tonight's ball game. Tyler Amaro comes into the ball game as number 34, Daniel Gross, runs off. Ball now at the Trojan 16-yard line. 6.5 minutes to play, fourth quarter. Center Grove in front 35-0. Neither team yet to score here in the second half, but the Bulldogs on a nice drive. Good hit by the Trojans. Amaro on the tackle for the Trojans. McAllister Power Systems offers sales, parts, and service for Cat Power Systems products such as diesel generators and on-highway truck engines. McAllister Power Systems facilities are located in Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, Lafayette, South Bend, Terre Haute, and Washington. At the 15, good run going for the Bulldogs on that far sideline. Looks like it should be enough for another first down. Halliburton with the carry.
Yeah, Columbus set a nice drive here, Kevin. They've done a good job of moving the ball down the field, albeit against some of the Center Grove's backups, but it's not like they've got their third or fourth string in right now. They've still got a few starters in there on defense. Columbus North's been effective mostly on the ground throughout this drive. Now they got first and goal on the 6.
Inside 6 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. High formation, handoff, no play action. Going to the end zone, and he overthrew his receiver. Skylar Farmer, the intended receiver, looked like he was open, but Vogel just threw it a little bit too high.
Well, and you want to make sure if you're going to miss, you'd rather miss long where it's not going to get intercepted versus if you leave it a little bit short and you got a chance to get that picked off. And Columbus North, it'd be very, very big for their psyche to pick up at least a touchdown here.
Second and goal at the 6-yard line. Vogel will call a timeout with 5:40 to play in the ball game, trailing 35-0. Honeywell is a Fortune 100 company that invents and manufactures technologies to address tough challenges linked to global macro trends such as safety, security, and energy. With approximately 132,000 employees worldwide, including more than 19,000 engineers and scientists, Honeywell has an unrelenting focus on quality, delivery, value, and technology in everything it makes and does. Find out more at Honeywell.com. We really appreciate Honeywell jumping on board this year to support our Center Grove football broadcasts. For the Center Grove Trojans under Coach Eric Moore, he has accomplished so much here at Center Grove High School. 6 sectional titles. Holds on tonight. It'll be number 7 under Coach Moore. Prior to the Coach Moore era, which he came here to Center Grove in 1999, the Trojans had only won 1 sectional and 1 regional. Coach Moore, with a win tonight, will move to 6-0 here at home in sectional championship games.
Well, what's his record in regionals as well, Kevin? I mean, I don't think he's been beaten in regional.
6-0 in regional games. He has never lost a regional game.
So hopefully we can get that moved to 7-0 next week. But I mean, and we've talked about it time and time again. I mean, it's not like Center Grove, football wasn't terrible, but it obviously not even close to the level that it's at right now. And Coach Moore came in. He obviously was familiar and had his wing tee offense set. But just to be able to put that in and start really the Bantam program and getting that as successful as it is, and the Junior Trojans program that he has, I mean, that just brings a complete program and a complete dynasty.
Vogel is intercepted in the end zone. Not a good throw by Vogel. He was under pressure and just kind of threw it toward the end zone, and it is picked off by the Center Grove Trojans.
25, Zach Hart.
Zach Hart with his first career varsity interception. Well done, young man.
Well, and I'm sure those first-string defensive guys that were on the sidelines are over there giving him a high five because they wanted that touch or that shutout preserved. The only thing that Mr. Hart did was he took 2 steps out of the end zone, so he got tackled on about the 1-yard line. So he'll learn when he gets that. He probably, for a moment saw visions of a 102-yard interception return and didn't quite make that.
Looking for that pick 6.
Yeah.
Center Grove obviously leading 35-0 at halftime here in the second half, really not showing anything offensively, just running the football, playing great defense, keep the clock moving. But first half, Center Grove so impressive. 3 touchdown passes, 1 special teams touchdown, and 1 on the ground. Another running play. Kevin Watson.
Fumble.
Ball came out. Picked up by the Trojans. Crony. He's going to go. Crony, he's a guard.
He better hurry up.
He's going to try to make it to the end zone. Crony, the offensive guard, makes it a touchdown.
Oh, my. 88-yard fumble recovery touchdown by the offensive lineman.
The right guard, Crony. He bumbles and stumbles his way down the field for a touchdown.
Oh, man, that's going to be one that obviously he'll never forget about, and I guarantee you his offensive line mates will be all over that one. He didn't look too bad out there. Now he's got to come off and probably get some oxygen.
He's hearing it from the Center Grove fans. I'm wondering if that might be on the Indy Star, one of the plays of the week right there. We'll see.
Oh, look at him.
He's looking for the oxygen. Extra point is good by Wheeler.
That doesn't get more complete than that, Kevin.
I'm not for sure. What was that, 70-some yards?
Oh, I think he
80?
picked it up inside the 15, so I bet it's 85 to 90 yards, somewhere around there. Watson went around the right end, had about 2 or 3 yards. The ball came out. All of a sudden, you see Croney pick it up and take off in stride. He had one guy that was kind of neck and neck with him for about 20 yards, and then one of the wide receivers, I think Buchanan, got out in front of him and was able to hold that guy off. Croney looked back on about the 40 to see if he was going to make it all the way in there, and he was able to make it.
Croney, 6'3", 230 pounds. He's a senior. Don't have his 40 speed in here, but it was good enough.
You know what? It's probably one of those things when they're back in Bantam football and those guys are overplaying weight and they got that ugly black stripe or red stripe on their helmet. Croney's been wanting to do that since he was probably in flag football. Now he's going to – worst part is, as a running back, he's going to turn around and start taunting Stapleton and asking him if he's got any touchdowns today, or Daggett, or the rest of those guys.
Well, Rick, the running backs for Center Grove, they've been depleted for the most part. Several guys hurt, so maybe they just found a new weapon in Nathan Croney.
I got a feeling that I don't think he'll be in the 2 deep next week, Kevin, if that's what you're asking. He might mention it once or twice, depending on what his relationship is with Coach Moore, but
maybe we'll ask Coach Moore in the pregame show next Friday night if Croney will get an opportunity to move into the 2 deeps.
Get anything special threw up for Croney. Man, he's getting mobbed over there on the sidelines, man. He's got Calvert talking to him. He's got all of his offensive line buddies over there. It's a good time for that young man. Good for him. Sectional champion, and got him an 87-yard touchdown.
That's right. How about that? It's 42-zip. All Center Grove tonight. 4:42 to play in the ball game. Pop-up kick by Wheeler, and it's bobbled by the Columbus North player at the 25. He pounces on it, recovers it. Number 25, Shannon McDonald, got on it. Try and get a new update on that Castle score. Rick, were you able to hear?
I did not. I wasn't able to hear that. I know it was 15-14 Jeffersonville in the last update that we had.
Tompkins back at the tailback position, picks up a yard. Again, the Trojans will advance to play the winner between Castle and Jeffersonville. If it's Castle, Castle will come here to Center Grove Friday night, 8 o'clock, regional championship game. If Jeffersonville wins tonight, Trojans will play the Red Devils at Jeffersonville at 7:30 in the regional final next Friday night.
Castle 22, Jeffersonville 15 with a minute to go in the second quarter. It's almost halftime there, Kevin.
So Castle led, and then Jeffersonville took the lead. Now Castle back in front. Again, that game did not kick off until 8 o'clock.
Well, and you got the other ones up north that seem to be getting decided. Fort Wayne Snyder's up 24-14 with about 4 minutes to go in the game. As well, South Bend Adams is up by a couple touchdowns over Carroll.
Flag down. away from the football. This might be a late hit against either Center Grove or Columbus North. Right now it's going to be 3rd and short, but we do have a flag on the play. Precision Transportation Solutions is in need of company drivers and owner-operators with single trucks or fleets to run for its dedicated first-class customers. PTS specializes in secure, high-value, temperature-controlled truckload transportation. To submit an application, visit Precision Transportation Solutions website at less-headaches.com. Again, that's less-headaches.com. And it is a face mask against the Center Grove Trojans, a 15-yarder. So first down for the Bulldogs.
Another face mask, it looks like.
Flags coming out quite a bit now here late. Again, got to keep your composure here late. Center Grove all of a sudden getting some unsportsmanlike conduct type penalties.
Wow, another big one.
Face mask against Center Grove, 15 yards again. So back-to-back 15-yard face mask penalties against the Center Grove Trojans.
That's big 30 yards down the field. So Columbus North's now down to the 30-yard line again with about 3 minutes to go in the game.
Across the middle, the pass is complete. Tackle made at the 15-yard line. Brickley on the tackle for the Center Grove Trojans.
Good form tackle by Brickley right there. He's not the biggest guy out there, but very impressive tackle down the middle. Once he hit number 12, Halliburton, on that pass, on that reception, Halliburton went backwards.
2:45 and counting, fourth quarter. 42-0, Center Grove in front. Columbus North trying to prevent a shutout inside the 5.
First and goal.
Good run by Jesse Tompkins. Brickley comes up limping.
So we got our first final, LC 21, North Central 7. So number 1, Lawrence Central moves along.
North Central led early 7-6, but
Fishers is up big 38-6, so that's going to be a Fishers victory. Pike 55, Avon 17. Time still left in the fourth.
Halliburton looking for the end zone. He's short.
Indian Creek got beat 27-19 by Greensburg.
Second and goal at the 2 for the Bulldogs.
Looks like we're going to have a Fishers at Fort Wayne Snyder. Snyder up 10 late in the fourth quarter, running out the clock.
Tompkins cannot get to the end zone. Pulled down from behind.
Number 41.
Jackson Sodrell, freshman linebacker.
Nice tackle. Fantastic tackle off the end. He hit him and looked like Tompkins was going to get in the end zone. But Sodrell was able to stop him and push him backwards.
That's a name you're going to hear for the next 3 years, Jackson Sodrell.
We got 2 Sodrells. You got Zeke plays wing back a little bit, and then you got Jackson. Zeke's a sophomore, right, Kevin?
That's correct.
They're in there.
Big push by the Columbus North O-line. Touchdown, Columbus North. 42-6 Trojans. First score of the night coming at the 1:15 mark here in the fourth quarter for the Bulldogs. With the touchdown run is Jamal Halliburton. Big part of that drive, 2 back-to-back face mask penalties resulting in 30 yards against the Trojans. Extra point kick is good, makes it now 42-7. All Center Grove tonight here at Ray Skillman Stadium, a minute 15 to play. Center Grove moving on to the regional championship for Coach Moore. His 7th sectional title here at Center Grove High School and number 8 in school history.
Well, and a great job by these kids. I mean, going into sectional, they obviously were the favorite team, but as we saw a couple years ago, just because you're the favorite doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to pull it off, and they've been flat out dominant in these 3 games in this sectional, Kevin. And a Maryville team that came in thinking a Martinsville team that thought they were going to come in and do something for Center Grove, played them well for a half, but Center Grove dominated the second half. And in these last 2 weeks, Center Grove in their first half have been dominant against Franklin, dominant against Columbus North. So they've done the first step. Obviously, when you're successful as Coach Moore's been over the years, you don't just stop at a sectional. And with a few of the teams that have gotten beat, you still have the number 1 team in the state in Lawrence Central. They're going to have a tough regional matchup next week against Pike. And then Center Grove's going to have either Jeffersonville or Castle next week to try to advance to the semi-state.
Nice return for the Center Grove Trojans.
Number 8.
That is Connor Steve. Program's not correct on that. Might say Devin Wilson, but number 8 is Connor Steve. He is a freshman. Great to see him get that opportunity here in the sectional championship game, and he got a chance to run it last week against Franklin. Saw him play quite a bit this year in the freshman football games. He was one of a handful of freshmen that got the opportunity to be rostered here for the state tournament.
Oh, great to see him. You could tell he wanted to run that ball. He ran all the way over there, almost to the sidelines, and received that kickoff because he clearly wanted to return it. And, good job. Got about a 10, 15-yard return on that kickoff, and good to see. Good to see all these kids. You know what? It's hard when these guys get their freshman schedule and their JV schedules complete for the year. They're still out here during the year or during the playoffs and during the throughout the week, and they're part of the scout team and getting these varsity kids ready for the playoff games, and they do a fantastic job. It's nice to see them get some playing time.
Down to 25 seconds. That will be the last play of the ball game. So a great season, a great run here for Columbus North, but the Center Grove Trojans, they defend their sectional title, beating Columbus North tonight 42-7, the final score. Center Grove moving on now to the Elite 8 next Friday night to take on either Castle here at home at 8 o'clock or at Jeffersonville at 7:30 next Friday night. Those teams still playing tonight in the southern part of the state. Coach Moore and his staff out there giving handshakes to Tim Bless and the Columbus North staff. Great sportsmanship by both teams. Trojans moving on. We'll take a break and be back with our post-game show. This is the 40th IHSA Football State Tournament, proudly presented by the Indianapolis Colts.
The hot-looking Buicks are on sale now at Ray Skillman Southside Buick GMC. Great style, great selection, and great savings on over 300 new Buicks. Get a 2012 Buick Verano as low as $169 a month. Or a 2012 Buick LaCrosse as low as $249 a month. Or get a 2012 Buick Enclave as low as $279 a month. The hot-looking Buicks are on sale now at Ray Skillman Southside Buick GMC.
And now a word from your friends from Floors to Go.
This is Joe Trester with Floors to Go here in Greenwood, Indiana. The store has been in business since 1976. We have a new building that has state-of-the-art products: carpet, hardwood, laminate floors, vinyl tile, sheet vinyl, ceramic tile, porcelain, bamboo.
The new Floors to Go has more room, more flooring products, and more deals per square foot.
Stay tuned for more from Floors to Go.
Whether you are looking for a low-maintenance community in a luxurious wooded setting such as Sycamore Ridge, the breathtaking views and rolling landscapes of Kensington Grove, the gently rolling hills and convenience of Calvert Farms, the intimate luxury setting of Claiborne, site of the 2006 Homerama, or the private gated communities of Persimmon Woods or Whitetail Woods, Duke Homes has a community to fit your needs. For information about all that Duke Homes and Duke Communities have to offer, visit DukeHomes.com.
For just 2% of a typical school's budget, high school sports give us plenty of energy and excitement. For just 2%, They also give us young people whose leadership and commitment to excellence will pay big dividends in our community for years to come. 2%. That's one investment we can all feel good about. High school sports. Pure spirit, pure sport, pure launching pad for life.
The Center Grove Trojans taking care of business here at Ray Skillman Stadium, winning the championship here in sectional number 7 over the Columbus North Bulldogs, 42-7 the final. The Center Grove Trojans now move on to the Elite 8 in Class 5A. Next up for the Center Grove Trojans will be the regional championship game, either against Castle here at home at 8 o'clock Friday night or at Jeffersonville, 7:30 Friday night. Those two teams still playing in the southern part of the state near the Evansville area. Last report, Castle was leading 22-15 at halftime over the Jeffersonville Red Devils. Kevin Conrad, Rick Embry with you one last time here at Ray Skillman Stadium. Rick, it all started in the first half. First play of the ball game, the kickoff. Again, the Columbus North Bulldogs. Gutsy call, not a bad call, but they tried the onside kick. It was picked up by Drew Wozniak. Wozniak picks it up, takes it in 53 yards for a touchdown. Took 9 seconds. Center Grove's on the board 7-zip, and the Trojans never looked back. Led 35-0 at halftime, and the second half it was a tie, 7-7.
Yeah, and you're right, Kevin. When we first saw that, it looked like a good play because Center Grove's front line had started to take 3 or 4 steps back, like they weren't anticipating that. Luckily, it went to Drew Wozniak, who was paying attention a little bit, and when he fielded it, he kind of shielded a little bit, thinking he was going to get hit. He got a tackle attempt against him. He broke that through, and once he got through that first line, he was gone. And that just sort of set the tone right there, Kevin. You could see the Columbus North get a little deflated after that. They didn't move the ball on their first possession. After that touchdown, Center Grove tacked on a touchdown right off the bat, and the route was on. But impressive performance overall for Center Grove.
Rick, our good friend John Moore, putting the statistics right in front of us, and boy, I tell you, a lot of contributors tonight. Last week we went with a defensive player, Dimitri Wilson, as our Center Grove player of the game. Tonight we look at Michael Hanlon, 6 tackles. Dylan Dallas, look no further. Stop right there. 5 tackles, but 3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss of yardage tonight. Dallas, he was a beast all night long. Just ask Vogel, the quarterback for Columbus North. So Dylan Dallas has to be our Center Grove player of the game.
Absolutely, and fantastic performance by him. Like you said, they couldn't block him. He did a great job with his speed and his quickness off the defensive line, despite the fact about going against a kid going to BYU for Columbus North. I mean, the couple plays that we watched, he just make a couple moves, and he was by him, and he was in the backfield all night. Obviously, 3 sacks, very impressive. Only played 3 quarters. 4 tackles for loss. Alex Lucas had a fantastic game as well. 13 carries, 153 yards. It's hard not to mention Luke Calvert, 7 for 11, 120 yards and 3 touchdowns. Buchanan had 2 touchdown receptions, 3 receptions, 70 yards, 2 big touchdowns in the first half. That sort of set the tone, and this game was over by the end of the first quarter with how Center Grove came out and absolutely dominated.
Total offense tonight, Center Grove 337 yards, 207 for Columbus North. Again, the Trojans had that 35-0 lead at halftime and kept it pretty basic offensively in the second half, just running clock. Really did not throw the ball again in the second half, if not maybe a couple of times. But, again, just mainly keeping the clock running. And the Trojans were able to also get a lot of the junior varsity players in there, so they got some good playing time here late.
Well, and we'd be remiss without saying the main offensive play in that second half was the big offensive lineman Nathan Croney picking up that fumble and rumbling, I think officially here at 88 yards for a touchdown. So that's the play that they're going to remember those offensive linemen and Crony, and I'm sure he won't forget to remind everybody about that. But like you said, very basic in the second half. Good thing that came out of this game, at least from visually from what we saw. There was nobody, didn't look like any significant injuries like we saw last week with Hudson. So hopefully everybody comes out of here healthy tomorrow when they go in and watch some film and stuff, and hopefully they can get a few other guys healthy in that backfield for the offense. But, I mean, the defense was dominant. Defense has been dominant all year, really, since that Carmel game when they gave up a few touchdowns. But that's where it all starts for Center Grove, and if they're able to get defensive performances like that, it wouldn't surprise me to see them playing in Lucas Oil in a few weeks.
Rick, just a quick scouting report on Castle and Jeffersonville. We know one thing about both teams. They usually score a lot of points. Jeffersonville especially puts up a lot of points. Castle, again, ranked number 10 in the state in the computer rankings, still undefeated on the season. Again, we know, Center Grove and Castle played a few times in the regional. Center Grove is 2-0 against Castle in the regional. Under Coach Moore, since Coach Moore's been here since 1999, and I know I'm looking through here, Jeffersonville, Center Grove has not faced Jeffersonville during the Coach Moore era. However, back in 1987, when Center Grove won a sectional for the first time in school history, they did beat Jeffersonville, I do believe, in the regional back in 87. It was either Jeffersonville or New Albany, but I do believe it was Jeffersonville. But anyway, those teams do score, and but a lot of people say, too, that they don't play the competition that Center Grove does in the MIC.
Well, and that's always been the case, and even some of these teams that are intersectional. I mean, Ted talks about it all the time. Whiteland doesn't have the schedule that Center Grove does, or anybody does, or the Center Grove or anybody in their sectional. Playing in the MIC in and out, week in and out, and seeing that wing T offense is so difficult to defend. So obviously, Castle and Jeffersonville put up some points. Just looking at Jeffersonville's schedule, they lost their first game of the year against Louisville Eastern, and then really only other game they lost this year was Columbus East. They actually had a forfeit loss to Madison, even though they won the game, so they must have played an ineligible player. So, but they put up points: 52, 41, 36, 63, 50, 49, 67, 62. 37, so they obviously put up big points, but Castle's still the favored coming out of that, up by a touchdown at halftime. They throw the ball a lot. I mean, Gillis has been fantastic for them. He's the leading all-time passer for Castle, and I still would expect that Castle comes out of that game, and hopefully that's the case, and we'll have another home game next week.
Rick, appreciate you stepping in tonight and filling in for Ted Kitchell. Again, Ted down at IU tonight, for the induction for Landon Turner. Special night for Ted, and we do appreciate you helping out tonight.
He can't blame me for not getting it done tonight, so we'll be glad to have Ted back next week.
All right, have a great weekend.
Thanks, Kevin. You too.
Tonight's game was produced by Center Grove Gridiron Productions, New 5 Creative, and CenterGroveSportsNetwork.com. The executive director is Aaron Holt, the executive producer Matt Murray, and statistician John Moore. Special thanks to Center Grove Athletic Director John Zwitt and head football coach Eric Moore, and Columbus North Athletic Director Jeff Hester and head football coach Tim Bless for their help with tonight's broadcast. Once again, Center Grove beats Columbus North 42-7. The final, Center Grove now 11-1, 9 straight wins. Columbus North concludes the season at 6-6. Congratulations to Coach Moore, his 7th sectional title here at Center Grove, and the 8th for Center Grove High School all time. The Trojans, again, we either host Castle next Friday night at 8 o'clock or go to Jeffersonville Friday night at 7:30 for the regional championship. Again, those two teams still playing in the southern part of the state. Until the regional championship game Friday night, this is Kevin Conrad for Rick Embry saying good night, everyone, from Ray Scowen Stadium at Center Grove High School.